Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming to you from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, and streaming, and all sorts of good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, today we got Kim Curran in the house. Kimberly, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling frosty today.
Did you get enough sleep? I know you got up. You went to.
Let me get
this straight. You go to bed.
I go to bed.
And then set your alarm for midnight?
I do.
What time do you go to bed?
I try to go to bed at
like 3 in the
9:30
afternoon.
9:30 to 10.
9:30 to 10 you
Yeah.
go to bed. I probably should try to do stuff like that.
because I get up
you
at
get
like
up
5.
to watch Hawkeye at midnight.
Yes.
Got it. And
I wake
also,
up and that becomes a part of my dream.
and then also joining us today, who is a part of all of our dreams, Mr. Ray Ora. Ray,
hello, everyone.
Oh, get it?
Oh, funny story. Hold on.
Get it?
Funny story about the dream thing. I used to fall asleep to like the court TV or whatever, the ID TV where the murder things happen. Right. There's one, I had an awful dream. The next day, I bought both my sisters and my mom pepper spray.
He did. Totally did.
Oh my God.
I was that, like, they all got murdered in my dream because I was watching something. And I said, look, you're going to go down with a fight or something. And I bought them all pepper spray.
You're going to go down with a fight.
That's so cute.
Anyway, guys, it's good to have you here. Happy Halo Day for those of you who have been looking forward to download some Halo today. Anyway, guys, we got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about here. Thanks a lot for making the show part of your day, and here's how today's show is going to go. We break it, as always, down into 2 halves. In the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your comments and your questions. If you're watching us live, and only if you're watching us live, and you have a comment, thought, or opinion about any of the topics we're discussing, not a question, just a comment, thought, or opinion, go ahead and use the super chat feature in the YouTube chat there, and we will read that after we get through the main topics. Now, if you have a question for the show, you can send in that question anytime, 24/7, whether we're live at the time or not. Simply go down into the description of this video, and you'll see a tip link. Click on that there, or enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your question on the show or an upcoming companion video if we consider your question appropriate to be used on our show. And of course, you'll be supporting our channel at the same time, and all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Also want to remind you guys, a little bit of heads up, if you can't get your daily fix of the John Campea Show being in front of a YouTube video, maybe you're commuting, you're at the gym, you're at work, whatever, good news, there is the audio-only version of the John Campea Show. I promise you there is, if I can get it on screen. There it is. There is an audio version of the John Campea Show that we call the John Campea Show Podcast. Simply go into your favorite podcasting app of choice, search for the John Campea Show, and subscribe to it today so the podcast will be there when you need it. And all of us here, thank you guys so much for subscribing already. Okay, guys. With that down, let's get into a couple of off the tops here. And the first off the top we're going to discuss is this. Yeah, Kimberly set her alarm for midnight for a very good reason. And it wasn't Santa Claus. It was Hawkeye. Hawkeye episode 4. Now, you guys know I was not the biggest fan of Hawkeye episodes 1 and 2. It had some good things going for it, but overall I was kind of underwhelmed by it. Episode 3 was quite good. And it was the first time that I went, okay, now I'm excited to see the next episode. And episode 4 came out last night, and it's not bad. Here's where I rank it. I put it above episodes 1 and 2, and we're not going to talk in any spoilerish kind of ways. I will let you guys know, though, a little bit later today at 3 p.m. Pacific time, that's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing our Hawkeye open spoiler post-game discussion. That will be, again, at 3 p.m. LA time, 6 p.m. New York time. If you guys want to talk about all the open spoiler details about the episode, come on back and join us for that at that time. But for now, we're just going to talk about the episode in some non-spoilery kind of ways. So, a couple of things that were really good, that I really, really enjoyed, were things that they did hint in the episode preview that they had put out on YouTube. One, the 4-way conversation at the dinner table of Kate Bishop, Clint, Jack, and Kate's mom. That was a great conversation. I was just grinning the entire time that conversation was going on. It was fun and funny. And then even when Clint's leaving, we won't talk about the details, but when Clint and Kate's mom have a quick conversation afterwards too, I thought that was a really great conversation.
Yeah,
that was great. We of course saw in the preview that there was some masked figure with the green goggles on and stuff like that. That fight sequence was actually a pretty good fight sequence. Still not as good as the fight sequence in episode 3 when Clint and Kate, Clint gets the tape off his hands and they have that big fight with the tracksuit gang or tracksuit mafia, whatever they call themselves. But it was still a pretty decent fight scene. There wasn't a lot the reason I don't think this episode was quite as good as, like, say, episode 3 was there wasn't actually a lot that happened. There really wasn't much. And for a show that is only 6 episodes long, I would expect, because the big excuse people make when I say, look, television shows should be 20 episodes. A season should be 20 something episodes.
I agree.
The greatest shows of all time have always done that, right? And then people make excuses saying, oh no, if you have shorter seasons and you have less filler. You know what? I find that the great shows that are long in seasons are great. The great shows that are short in seasons are great. But when you got 6 episodes and you still have what you feel like is a little bit of a filler episode, it's like, and that's what's just 6 episodes. But again, I'm not saying that Hawkeye episode 4 was a straight up filler episode. I'm not saying that. But there wasn't a whole lot that came undone. We do learn a little bit more about the Watch, which we'll talk about in the spoiler discussion later. So that was kind of interesting. We do get an interesting, phone conversation between Clint and his wife. Again, we won't talk about the details of that, but we'll talk about that in the spoiler discussion. But yeah, there was enough in there that I'm like, yeah, I like this episode. Better than episodes 1 and 2. Not quite as good as episode 3. But, I mean, you and I were talking about this before the show started today, Kim. There are only 2 episodes left.
No.
And I feel like this show hasn't even really gotten started yet. You know what I mean? Am I the only one that feels that way? I feel like this show hasn't even really gotten started, and yet we've only got 2 episodes left. So these final 2 episodes better be packed.
Yeah.
Like, better be packed with stuff and everything. I don't know, like, Ray, I know you've been kind of lukewarm on this series so far. What were your general feelings about the episode last night?
I thought it was good. I actually enjoyed it. I like how mysterious. Can I even? Oh, never mind.
No, this.
Okay.
Just speaking broad generalities.
Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I want to point out that episode 5s are usually bonkers.
It better be bonkers because they've only got 2 episodes left.
Yeah.
I mean, and now it should be pointed out too, to your point, Ray, episode 5 is going to be the final episode before Spider-Man No Way Home comes out.
Oh,
right. So episode 5 will drop at Tuesday night for us, Wednesday morning for most people. And then like 38 hours after that, Spider-Man No Way Home comes out.
Right.
So if they're going to do something bonkers, I'll say this. We've all been speculating about whether Uncle is Vincent D'Onofrio Kingpin. That's the time to reveal it. That's the time to reveal it. Because, I mean, I could be wrong, but I mean, Kevin Feige recently said, oh yeah, Charlie Cox is going to be our Daredevil if we ever do Daredevil. So, but if Charlie Cox is going to pop up in Spider-Man No Way Home, now's the time to reveal Kingpin. I feel like you've only got 2 episodes left. Kim, what were your general feelings on the episode?
Oh, totally. I feel like the energy of the episode, it was a little slow for me, although it did have a great fight scene in it. The pacing was a bit off for me. This definitely is, out of all the episodes, this is my least favorite. It has to pick up. We have 2 episodes left. I know the runtime for the series is 45 to 50 minutes. You have to max it out at 50 minutes for the last 2 episodes is what I feel.
But you know what? I feel like we say that for every single one of the Marvel Disney Plus shows so far. He gets into the last episode 2, is like, this one's got to be an hour. This one's, and it normally isn't. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So I wonder if they're going to max out that time, because I feel like there's still so much story to be told. But then again, it's all within the timeline of right before Christmas, and they're counting down. The days are going by and cool stuff is happening. But I feel like we're going to get some great action and definitely get some answers in the next 2 episodes. We have to. There's only 2 left. And
what has now become traditional with the Disney Plus Marvel shows is that once you get into the second half of the season, that's when the post-credit scenes start popping up in the episode. So I was sitting there, it's like, ooh, there's like 10 minutes. Like once the show ended, I hit pause to see that there was still 10 more minutes left of the show. I'm like, well, there's got to be the post-credit scene. Nope. I went there, no post-credit
no
scene.
Surprises.
No surprises. So that's okay. Let me ask you guys just for a quick because we'll go into more detail in the spoiler discussion later, but let me ask you guys for a quick prediction.
Okay.
Does Clint get home in time for Christmas? Number 1, does Clint get home in time for Christmas? And number 2, when he gets home, is it in a body bag?
No, they wouldn't. It's Christmas, man. It's Christmas.
You don't think they have him die?
No, they don't have. Man, that would be cold. Just cold. Seriously, why would they? Merry Christmas, everyone.
Are they gonna wrap his ashes in a nice, pretty box and
sing
put a
"Oh,
bow
Christmas
on
Tree"?
it?
He's already made fun of like the character Hawkeye compared to the other Avengers.
Yeah.
He's already one of the least, talked about. But you're gonna kill him too? No, come on, man.
Merry Christmas, kids.
We're gonna create the show just to kill him.
No. Central to everything surrounding him is that he's a father.
Yeah.
He is a father. He's a great father, and he's a husband. He's a great husband. I think he opens that door. There's going to be hot chocolate waiting for him. He might even do some arrow action to get some marshmallows into that cup of hot chocolate. But
so
no,
you
he
think
makes
a big
it home.
Christmas happy ending?
Oh yeah,
a big Christmas happy ending.
Yeah.
This episode did start. About his background, Clint's background. They started getting into it more.
Yeah,
right?
they started doing more of that. Yeah, and which is actually really, really good. There were some heavier moments. Again, we won't go into details.
You're right.
But there's some heavier conversation moments too, including a story that he starts to tell Kate.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that may have been my favorite. And again, we'll talk about that in this, but that would have been my favorite moment of the series so far.
It was emotional.
Telling that story.
The pieces are moving.
Yeah. Yes,
they're starting to move, and they're getting closer together right now.
This episode was emotional.
Yeah. There was some good emotional stuff. Again, I think it was better than episodes 1 and 2. I did not think it was as good as episode 3.
What you think about Kate in this episode? Do you like her more now? I actually like her a little bit more.
You know what? Episode 3, once the show, because look, the episodes 1 and 2, this show shouldn't be called Hawkeye. It should be called Kate Bishop. Right. And please, no more crying. John, in the comic books, Kate Bishop. I don't give a fuck. We're talking about what's on the screen. We're not talking about this. So don't give me any of that shit. The show is called Hawkeye. And what I did not like about, one of the things I didn't like about episodes 1 and 2 is this show isn't even about Hawkeye. This show is, even the opening credit titling was just all Kate Bishop.
I feel like episode 3 kind of solves that a bit.
I kind of felt like episode 3, as soon as they started shifting gears a little bit.
It was a Clint Barton
and
show.
it started to becoming a Hawkeye show.
Yeah.
With Kate Bishop as a really good supporting character to Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
She started to grow on me. And I found that continued in this episode. I'm actually liking the Kate Bishop character because I did not like her at all in the first 2 episodes. I didn't find her to be a good character. But as they started shifting the focus, the character's growing on me.
Maybe that's what it was supposed to be. Hawkeye is supposed to be changing. Because remember the first 2 episodes?
Yeah, but
I figured they have to
isn't an excuse for being bad.
They have to introduce the character. So I get maybe 1 episode of introducing her, but they took 2 episodes to show us that, which is, they could have used that episode for something else, but you know what I mean? They had to introduce this character, and maybe that's where Hawkeye makes the biggest impact, is on her. And I still think you should have started with the emphasis on him and then introduced her and made, but they did what they did, but I'll say she's growing on me. All right, guys, listen, we'll go into more details on the open spoiler discussion a little bit later today. Come on back and join us for that. But for now, what did you think
about Hawkeye episode 4. Again, I thought it was better than the first 2 episodes. I like this episode, not quite as good as 3, but what do you guys feel? How bonkers do the final 2 episodes need to be? When are we going to start seeing post-credit scenes? Does Clint make it home in time for Christmas? And if so, is it in Santa's body bag sack? Santa shows up, ho, ho, ho.
You are the Grinch. You are the Grinch.
A big dead Clint flops out. Anyway, guys, whatever you guys are thinking about that, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. One more off the top, and that is this. I don't know if you guys know. Next week, little Tom Holland, a little independent Tom Holland film coming out. I don't know, might be in black and white, might be a foreign language film. I don't know if it's going to have subtitles. I don't know if Steven Spielberg's involved with it or not. There's a little Spider-Man movie coming out next week, right? Now, one of the things that we as fans have started to become more and more enamored with is when these new films come out is how long is it? Because it feels like fans, we just want the movies to be super long. Even if it's to the detriment of the film, we don't care. We just want the movie to be long, even if that makes the movie worse. But we just want the movie to be as long as possible. What is the runtime? Well, I got some interesting information this morning. About not only the actual specific runtime. I'm breaking it here, guys. The actual Runtime Watch 2021. About the actual runtime of the entire movie, the actual runtime of the movie itself, not including credits, and then how much time actually happens between when the movie ends and when the actual text credits start to roll on the screen. So let's go into this. Okay. For that, we're going to jump into the Campea Classroom.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Surprise session.
SpiderMan Run Time. All right. So here's what I can tell you. On IMDb, the runtime for Spider-Man No Way Home is listed as 2.5 hours. The specific runtime is 2 hours, 28 minutes, and 1 second. So basically 2.5 hours. Now that includes the credits, everything right till when the final thing ends and the theater lights come on and the movie's over, right?
Oh, okay.
2 hours and 28 minutes is the total official runtime of the film. All right. Now, what about the actual movie? Like, not including credits. How long is the movie itself? So Spider-Man No Way Home, the movie itself is actually 2 hours and 14 minutes and 35 seconds. So that's the actual movie time. 2 hours, 14 minutes, 35 seconds. There are going to be some people disappointed to hear that. I think some people wanted to hear that the movie itself was actually 2.5 hours and then credits were added on top of that. But the full runtime of the movie with credits, 2 hours, 28 minutes, 1 second. Actual movie itself, 2 hours, 14 minutes, and 35 seconds. Now, the actual crawl, that's the part of the credits when the actual text and credits start to roll up the screen, right? The actual crawl itself starts at 2 hours and 18 minutes and 45 seconds. Now that means that the time between when the movie ends and when the actual credit crawl begins is actually 4 minutes and 14 seconds. There is 4 minutes and 14 seconds between when the movie itself ends and when the text credits start to crawl. Now, that is not a big surprise because we all know that at the end of a Marvel movie, the credits don't just roll. They have this big animated credit thing with like, woo, 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 Jeremy Renner, dun, 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 a flying shield, Chris Evans, ba, 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 Scarlett Johansson, right? They do that at the end of every Marvel film, right? So there's always that first part of the credits, the animated part of the credits, and then the actual credit roll. And what we all also know that happens in Marvel movies is that after the ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba credit part of the thing, that's when the mid-credit scene comes. That's when the mid-credit scene comes. The Marvel films have 2 post-credit scenes. There's the mid-credit scene and at the very end, right? So here's why this number to me is interesting. Those animated first part of the credits with all the flashy animations and then boo, Robert Downey Jr., that's usually 1 to 2 minutes long. That's usually around 1 to 2 minutes long. So the reason I find this number here interesting, this 4 minutes and 14 seconds, is because let's, for argument's sake, say that first animated credits scene for Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be, let's, for argument's sake, say 2 minutes. Let's go on the high end. We'll say that part alone, that first animated initial part of the credits that just kind of lists the actual actors in it and whatever, is 2 minutes long. That leaves us 2 minutes and 14 seconds for a mid-credit scene. Now, sometimes these credit scenes can be like 15 seconds, a minute. 2 minutes and 14 seconds for the mid-credit scene. And by the way, if that initial opening animation thing is like shorter, let's say it's a minute 30, now you're talking close to a 3-minute mid-credit scene. So this kind of tells me that that mid-credit scene is actually probably going to be fairly substantial. For a credit scene, it's going to be fairly substantial. Now, I don't know anything. What we do not see in the information we do not get in all of this is, okay, but how long is the final post-credit scene going to be? There's nothing in here that...
I was just going to ask you that. Okay,
yeah.
You don't... Okay.
And right now, there's nothing in here that gives us any indication. Like, none of us have any doubt there's going to be an end credit scene.
Yeah.
But it looks like we're getting a fairly substantial mid-credit scene, at least a couple of minutes long, and maybe a little bit longer than that. And then we'll find out what comes at the end of the film. So just one more time running this down. All right, so the total runtime from the moment the movie begins to the moment the projector turns off, 2 hours, 28 minutes, 1 second. The actual movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, the movie itself, not including any credits, is 2 hours and 14 minutes and 35 seconds. The credits crawl begins at 2 hours, 18 minutes and 49 seconds, which means there is a 4 minute and 14 second gap between when the movie ends and when the text credits crawl. And within those 4 minutes and 14 seconds has to be the animated initial part of the credits plus whatever that mid-credit scene is. And it looks like it could be substantial. I find this interesting.
I do too.
I know there are probably people like Ray who are looking at this and thinking, math? What are we doing, math?
Come on, man. Come on. The only subject I'm okay at.
Yeah. Really? You like math? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's my favorite subject.
You know, I should know that with all the business you do with eBay. You're always calculating. Actually, I kid you not. Last night, when Ray came over to watch, and by the way, made some delicious
Okay.
delicious Italian sausage dogs and barbecue.
Delicious.
It was
pleasurable.
Oh my, because he is the
Chef Pleasure.
It was.
I have a bone to pick. You guys keep talking about this great food that you make, and there is not a Tupperware waiting for me when I walk into the house in the morning.
It's all gone.
The leftovers are best in the
There's
morning.
no leftovers.
Where's my cut?
There's never any leftovers. Like we polish that off.
Are you
But you should
serious?
just come.
Lick
I
the
know
plate.
you go to bed at 9, but maybe for the last 2 episodes, maybe you just stay up and just come on over.
Your
and
girl
join us.
likes to eat.
Well, Ray brings the food.
Yeah, bring the food.
And I'm waiting for that cookie.
I have something
brings
to
the
stay
heat.
up. I needed a reason or like something to
I need a plate.
Cooking gives him purpose. But anyway, yeah, the question is for you guys. What do you think about these number breakdowns? Are you okay? I personally think an actual runtime of the movie itself at 2 hours and 14 minutes, totally plenty good runtime for a movie. I am interested to see how long that mid-credit scene is going to be with this breakdown of the numbers. What do you guys think about it? Whatever you guys are feeling, jump on down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. And hey guys, we want to take a moment and thank the sponsor of this video today, Raycon. Now look, we are getting close to the Christmas season here. You're looking for presents to get people. Everybody needs earbuds. And look, I was telling you myself, not too long ago, my earbuds that I had, I lost one of them. And it's easy to lose these things because they're so small. So I was looking for another pair of earbuds. I got these Raycons. I'm telling you what, I love them. They're easy as hell to pair. Like I literally opened them up, put them in my ears, and they instantly said pairing mode. I'm like, that's great. That's fantastic. They're comfortable to wear. They've got a mic built into them so I can use them for my phone calls. I get on my treadmill in the morning and I just pop them in as I'm going through my show notes and everything, doing my daily routine. They sound great. And here's one of the coolest things about them. Compared to the other big brand earbuds that I have owned all of them, They're like half the price. So here's what you guys are going to need to do today. You guys are going to go over to the link you see right here, buyraycon.com/John Campea. You'll get 15% off your order. So once again, head on over to the website. You can see it right here at buyraycon.com/John Campea. It is time to get involved and buy your friends some presents, and everybody loves getting these earbuds. So jump on over again, once again, to buyraycon.com/Campea, or you can see the link right at the top of the description. And we thank the folks at Raycon for sponsoring this video. Okay, guys, with that down, let's now move into our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics here on the John Campea Show? Well, it's really rather simple. You see, you guys come up with them. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover on the John Campea Show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Kim, what is our first main topic today?
All right, everyone. This comes from Andrew Shum. So the reviews are out for Don't Look Up, and they're a little confusing. As I'm writing this, it is currently rotten on Rotten Tomatoes with a 58%. But if you click on the reviews, most of the positive ones aren't just giving the movie a pass. They're saying it's actually pretty phenomenal and very well done. A very well done film. One even says it's this generation's Doctor Strangelove, while on the flip side, others are calling it smug and a disaster of a film. Could this be the most divisive film of the year?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Andrew. And yeah, look, I have been, like many, many people, very, very excited for Don't Look Up. Like the moment you hear about the cat, this is, there's not really a lot of debate about it. This is one of the most impressive casts ever assembled for a film, like ever. As a matter of fact, you run down, obviously you've got Leonardo DiCaprio, Academy Award winner Leonardo DiCaprio, Academy Award winner Cate Blanchett, Academy Award winner Jennifer Lawrence, multiple Academy Award winner Meryl Streep, Academy Award nominee Timothée Chalamet, Academy Award nominee Jonah Hill, Ron Perlman, Mark Rylance, Michael Chiklis, Tyler Perry. I mean, this is a loaded cast from top to bottom as you run it down. And I thought the trailers have been kind of funny. I mean, they haven't completely knocked me off my feet, but I thought the trailers looked kind of funny and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the reviews are now coming out, and they're very divided. And they're not just divided, they are strongly divided. And what I mean by that is, like Andrew was kind of pointing out in his message, is that the ones that like it seem to really like it. And the ones that don't seem to really not. And then there are a few right there in the middle and stuff like that. Here's where the main problem seems to be. The basic understanding now that we get from all the reviews is this: the comet hurling towards Earth. Because for those of you who don't know what this movie is supposed to be about, here it is. Kate Debasky, Jennifer Lawrence, is an astronomy grad student, and her professor, Dr. Randall Mindy, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, make an astounding discovery of a comet orbiting within the solar system. The problem, it's on a direct collision course with Earth. The other problem? No one really seems to care. Turns out, warning mankind about a planet killer the size of Mount Everest is an inconvenient fact to navigate. With only 6 months until the comet makes impact, managing the 24-hour news cycle and gaining the attention of the social media-obsessed public before it's too late proves shockingly comical. What will it take to get the world to just look up? So that's the premise of the film, right? Well, apparently here's the deal. You read all the reviews and they let you know. The whole idea of the movie is that the comet coming towards Earth is just an allegory. What this movie is really about is climate change. And it's kind of a spoof, if you will, kind of a parody in a way of the fact that you have scientists trying to warn people there's a cataclysm coming and nobody is paying attention. Nobody wants to pay attention. And that's kind of what the movie is setting up, right? That there's this comet coming, it's going to destroy the Earth. And then we saw that clip they put out with them meeting the president and her chief of staff. And they're like, whatever, who cares? There's always something disastrous happening. And like, it comes across as silly, but I guess the whole point of the movie is that it's an allegory about climate change and stuff like that. Now, the main criticism I've read from a lot of the critics is that it is so over the top heavy-handed. Like one critic I read said, it's like they've got these sausage-sized hands that just keep beating you over the face. And when you're doing an allegorical movie like this, there's got to be, for it to be effective, there's got to be subtlety. There's got to be subtlety to it. And when the joke of the parody is so blatantly obvious and so blatantly pounded on, it loses its effectiveness as a message movie. And so, yeah, so there are a bunch of critics who watched it and thought, oh, this is a brilliant allegory. It's set up beautifully and wonderfully. Last I checked, it had like a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's probably gone up a little bit since then. But then the ones that don't like it are like, I think one of the more damning ones, I believe, was from the Hollywood Reporter. But anyway, was basically saying it's way too heavy-handed. It takes itself as a parody. You can't take the material to be taken seriously. You can't take it too seriously. Let me say that again. I love what I just said. That was brilliant. So to be taken seriously, you can't take your own movie too seriously. And when you take your own movie too seriously, your audience won't take it seriously. And that kind of seems to be the case. Now, I'm talking out of my ass a little bit here because I haven't sat down to watch the movie myself yet. I will say this. I'm pretty disappointed to hear that the reactions hasn't been great because I have really been looking forward to this. I don't know, Kim, have you heard anything about this? What were your expectations going into it?
Yeah, my expectations, although they're high, because you look at that cast and you can't really look at that pool of people and go, this is going to be crap. You have to see, well, what is the film about? Who's directing it? Who's writing it? But I was like, Adam McKay, he does great with comedy ensemble cast. Yep. He's wonderful at that. He's also wonderful at letting the talent tap into their own improv skills. And sometimes that brings out the best classic lines that we all end up absolutely loving. The other concern I have, though, is that big stars don't equal amazing.
Nope.
You can, we learned that with the, Rami Malek, Denzel Washington, Jared Leto. What was that called?
Oh, the one on Warner, on HBO.
Well, on HBO.
Yeah, where he's a detective. Yeah, not so good.
You had all these amazing people, and you looked at the end of the movie, you're like, are you kidding me? So I'm a little nervous about that. However, I feel like from the reviews, it sounds like it's preachy. And I think people don't, not everyone's on the same page and people don't want to, really be preached at. However, people do appreciate when you have a message and like you said, you're subtle, you're succinct, and you're getting across something that I can learn to now be passionate about without beating me over the head with it.
Yeah.
And so I'm nervous now.
The message of your movie needs to be conveyed through the narrative, not through turning to the camera and going, listen, people, this is what you need to do. And that's why I don't like preachy movies. I don't like preachy. The most effective movies, like we were just talking about a minute ago, are the ones that have a very strong message to give, but the message becomes implied within the narrative itself. And the audience can figure it out. The audience can figure out what your message is. And I find you lose your effectiveness, like you're saying, when you become when we get into that pulpit and you start preaching to your audience, then it doesn't feel like you're watching a movie anymore. Yeah.
And it's not that we don't appreciate it, because how many of us have now signed up with nonprofits because of a film woke us up to an issue that was happening. I know not a lot of people even knew what human trafficking was until Liam Neeson was like, look, I got a set of skills. Yeah. So I appreciate it. I just don't want to be beaten over the head. But I'm like Meryl Streep, Kate Blanchett. Is it going to be horrible? I don't think. I don't feel like it's going to be horrible, but you know what?
I got to watch down the next day or two. I got to sit down the next day or two and watch this thing. Anyway, the question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Have you been looking forward to Don't Look Up? I certainly have. What do you think about the mixed reactions coming out of it? However you guys are feeling about this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move into main topic number 2. Kim, what is our second main topic today?
All right, this is coming from Mike T. The social media embargo has just been lifted for The King's Man, and from what I can tell, it seems the story is totally all over the place, but entertaining nonetheless. Rhys Ifans is being praised for his wild performance of the mad monk Rasputin. Have you seen the reactions, and were you surprised? Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, this is another one of these films that I have wanted to be excited about, but couldn't quite get myself excited about. Look, the first Kingsman movie was wonderful. So good. It caught a lot of us by surprise. It just looked like this little low budget, jokey, kind of based on a lesser known graphic novel thing. Then everybody coming out of that thing was like, wow, that was so much fun. Right? And you had like one of the greatest actors in the world in there from The King's Speech.
Colin Firth.
Colin Firth, thank you. Colin Firth, who I think was hot off his Academy Award win, I think, when that came out. I can't remember if it was pre or after, but so you had that, you had this great supporting cast, so much fun. And so I had a lot of enthusiasm going into Kingsman 2, the second one, Kingsman, The Golden Circle, I think it was called. That movie was bad. That movie was bad. I remember I watched it the first time and I'm like, okay, so it's nowhere near as good as the first one, but it's not all that bad. It's not all that bad. And then I went to go see it the second time. I'm like, I was just kidding myself. This is a terrible movie. It was really disappointing. I mean, not like Jupiter Ascending kind of terrible, but really not good. And because of that, I have had really no excitement about this, despite the fact that this movie has, to me, the undisputed greatest actor in the world who does not have an Academy Award in Ralph Fiennes. To me, that's just it. No questions asked. Ralph Fiennes is the greatest actor in the world who doesn't right now have an Academy Award. And so I'm really excited to see that. And the trailers haven't been bad. I've liked the trailers. But yeah, the early reactions are coming out and they're not sounding great. So they're some people are liking it, some people aren't. Sean Mulhill writes, The King's Man, it's fine. A step up from The Golden Circle. Well, that's not hard, but tonally much more serious than the previous two. Either way, I had fun with this oddball historical fiction. Ralph Fiennes is quite good. I expect to be in the minority in this one. Molly Freeman then writes, as someone who loves the first Kingsman movie and really enjoyed the second one, all I really have to say about The King's Man is it's bad. There's some neat action and fun performances, but the story and tone are a mess, and the comedy is downright awful at times. 100% Kazam Loke writes, The King's Man is an unexpectedly emotional World War I story, a brilliant Ralph Fiennes action movie and historical prequel all rolled into one. A fitting origin yarn to the first film, a big thumbs up for me. So you see, some people didn't like it, some people do. Ian Sandwell writes, The King's Man blends real-life history to the heightened Kingsman world to mostly stressful results. At times, the story meanders, but there's genuine surprises. Three Tom Hollander performances, and Rhys Ifans being outrageous as Rasputin. He does look great as Rasputin in the trailers. I really like the Rasputin trailer case. What more do you want? Then we got Matt Nagilia writes, it may still be ridiculous at points, but the third time was the charm for me with Matthew Vaughn's The King's Man. The most fun I've had with these films yet. Better than the first one? Ralph Fiennes commands the screen, who of course he does, with strength and nobility, while the World War I backdrop helped the kinetic action feel fresh. Let's see, another one. The King's Man is bizarre. Tonally, it's the weirdest film I've seen this year. It's both self-serious and utterly, totally silly. It also has deeply troubling plot that the more I think on it, the more I loathe. But Rasputin has superpowers, I guess. Anyway, so you can see this. not fantastic, glowing things. Like a couple of them really do like it. And here's the thing. Usually these early reactions, the people who give their early social media reaction before the full review embargo lifts tend to want to say the things they liked about a movie, right? So like, even if they overall feel mixed about it, when they give their first reaction, they tend to want to say the things they liked about it to not be negative, right? Seeing a lot of these reactions straight up saying, hey, listen, as somebody who really liked these films, this one's bad. This one's a total mess. This one's a this is that. Now, but again, with some people, it totally hit for them and it totally worked. I'm going to say this. I'm not surprised. I'm honestly not surprised by them. Again, coming out of Golden Circle, which I just thought was terrible. I honestly feel this was a franchise they should have moved on from. I think there are way better things that Matthew Vaughn, who I believe is very, very talented, both as a producer, as a director, as a storyteller, he's great. But after seeing just how utterly Golden Circle didn't work, I really wanted Matthew Vaughn to move on, both as a producer and a filmmaker and all that kind of stuff. I just wanted him to move on from Kingsman and move on to other things and know that he could do great. And so, I haven't seen the movie yet myself. I might be one of the people that really likes it. But I haven't been enthused for it, and this doesn't change my mind. What do you think about the early reactions we're hearing? Are you surprised?
I think it's a bummer, but I think after the first one, we still have to remember what it is. Even though the first one was great, people's heads were exploding into different shades
awesome.
of Crayola, you know? And so it's like, don't take it too seriously. Accept it for what it is. It's bombastic. And there's great action scenes. That's what it is. I'm not in this for a great story. I'm not in this to be moved. I'm not in this to be like Mission Impossible, which I know I can always count on. Comedy, great action, suspenseful, this and that. I'm expecting it to be bombastic and have some awesome action sequences. Everything else, leave it on the table. Understand this for what it is. Seriously, like, the first one, I'm like, did that guy's head just explode into like, it looks like a baby reveal. It was like, poof, blue, congratulations. Like, I think I'm not moved by the negativity because I'm going to get what I'm going in there for. So,
but isn't there an argument to be made that you can have bombastic and you can have great action and still make a good movie? Like, isn't there that? Because I look at the first one, that, well, yes, the exploding head, they mixed in some silly. See, that was one of the things for me. With the first Kingsman, they mixed in some silly and ridiculous. The second Kingsman, it was based on silly and ridiculous and whatever. But that first movie, while it had silly and some ridiculous and great action and all that kind of stuff, at the same time, Kim's camera just turned off because it overheated. I'll get it back on in a second. But at the same time, you know, they made a good movie. They made a movie they gave interesting mythology to what the Kingsmen are. You had terrific performances, which I'm sure we're going to get out of Ralph Fiennes anyway.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, and they set up a decent plot and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I get it. There's like, there's some movies you just want to have fun with. Yeah. But the two aren't mutually exclusive. You can have fun and make a good movie. It's like kids' movies, right? It's like, yeah, you can just have a silly, nonsensical, lots of colors and kids' movies. But Pixar goes, you know what? Nothing says we can't make a movie that is for kids and not also make it a fantastic motion picture at the same time. And so I don't know, maybe I'll be one of the people that think Kingsman, the new one, is
true.
Really good.
Like my grandmother says, just lower your expectations.
Yeah, lower your expectations. I am curious to know. Like, Ray, I wanted to ask you. Like,
no, don't please.
But watching the trailers, is this a movie that for you? I'm just straight honestly, have you had a lot of interest in watching The King's Man?
Actually, no. I love the first one, but the second one just was a complete letdown. So I haven't been looking forward to this movie at all, to be honest. Like I don't even remember the trailers.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. I didn't even know it was coming out.
Well, when you don't even remember a movie's coming out, that's not the best way to start. Anyway, question is for you guys. What did you think about these early reactions we're hearing from The King's Man? Have you been excited for the movie? Are you like me and you haven't been all that excited for it? Are you surprised to hear that it's mixed? Whatever you guys are thinking about this, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Okay, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 3.
Tom, I gotta ask you about
Kim,
something that producer.
what is our third main topic today?
Okay, guys, this is coming from Mike Dasick. I just saw press junket interviews with Tom Holland, and on several of them, he was angry about how some of his recent interviews with GQ and Graham Norton were used for clickbait or even changed to be misleading and misinterpreted, and none actually speaks the truth. He addresses his "if I'm Spider-Man after I'm 30, I've done something wrong" comment and thanked the GQ journalist for changing what he said and said he really appreciated it.
All right. So thanks for writing that in, Mike. And yeah, so of course, one of the big stories that came out last week, I think it was when Tom Holland was doing a GQ interview And he said, if I'm still playing Spider-Man when I'm 30, I'm doing something wrong. And we had a big debate on this thing about, is Tom Holland really not wanting to play Spider-Man anymore? And I'm like, of course he still wants to play Spider-Man and whatever. But, you know, he did make that comment. Now, he was just doing an interview with Extra. Well, I think that's who Corey used to work with, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Our friend Corey, you guys have met Corey. Corey used to work with Extra. But he just did an interview with Extra where I think the interviewer straight up asked him, it's like, hey, you know, you've said you don't want to be playing Spider-Man after you're 30 anymore. And he was like, he just kind of shook his head. And then he went on to explain that comment saying, no, look, it's not that I don't want to play him after I'm 30. Anyway, this is what Tom Holland said. He said, I don't know what the future of Spider-Man looks like. I don't know whether I'm going to be a part of it. Spider-Man will always live on in me. And I know Amy and the studio. I think it's interesting that he's only saying Amy and the studio. He's not saying Kevin Feige. He's not saying Disney. Anyway, I'm going to be a part of it. Will always live on in me. And I know Amy and the studio are keen to figure out what the next chapter of Spider-Man looks like. If that happens to be with me, then that's very exciting. But if it's time to walk away, then I'll do so proudly. So basically, Tom Holland is saying, yeah, look, I'm totally up to playing Spider-Man. I mean, just right now they're trying to figure out what the future of Spider-Man is. And then he went on to clarify. He said, look, what I meant by when I said, if I'm still playing Spider-Man at 30, I must be doing something wrong. He goes, I mean that in the sense that in the spirit of I'd be taking away somebody else's chance to play this role. He goes, that's all I meant. Like, if I'm still playing Spider-Man, that's exciting. I'm saying, and then he went on to say, so, hey, you know, thanks a lot, GQ, for changing what I said. All right. Before we start talking about Tom Holland still playing Spider-Man, I do want to say something about what Tom Holland has to say here. And you guys know I'm a big fan of Tom Holland. But Tom, he didn't change what you said. That is what you said. You just didn't say it clearly. You know, I'm going to say this is one of those situations where that's on you, Tom. Like, if you said in the interview, yeah, I mean, if I'm still playing Spider-Man when I'm 30, then I'm doing something wrong. That's what you said. Now, maybe you know that what you meant in your head was, well, I mean, like, because I still want to play him, but I'm just saying, like, oh, you know, I've got to play it after guys like Toby and Andrew got to play him, and now somebody else is going to play him at some point, and am I yeah, maybe that's what you meant and that's what you thought, and maybe you didn't explain it well enough. But it's after hearing Tom Holland explain it, it's like, no, it still sounds like GQ just wrote what you said. You just didn't effectively say what you actually meant. So whatever, we'll put that aside for a second. But I just don't think Tom Holland should be trying to pass the blame for this off on the GQ reporter. I don't think that it's right for him to be trying to throw the GQ reporter under the bus.
Tom Holland is calling Tyrese right now. Trying to get your number.
Yeah, that's it. No, Tom Holland said, but no, I don't think it's right for him to try, because it is what he said. Now, that being said, because listen, we've all said things that we knew what we meant when we were saying it, but it didn't come out the way we meant it to sound. You know, we've all done that, and so is Tom. There's nothing wrong with that. It's all totally cool. Okay, now let's get back to talk about the real thing here, which is he still wants to play Spider-Man. They still want him to play Spider-Man. Whether he is leaving to go off just with Amy and the Sony studio, or whether they are actually going to still keep him in the MCU, or whether, as Kevin Feige kind of hinted at, he's going to be going back and forth between the two different cinematic universes, whatever, any or all of those, we're still going to have a Tom Holland Spider-Man, I think, for a while. And I said the other day, and y'all didn't believe me. When I say y'all, I mean the two people sitting in this room with me. You didn't believe me when I said we are still going to see Tom Holland as Spider-Man when he's 30. And you guys didn't think so. Now, I'm just curious.
Wait, he's 25,
I said
right?
you want to
He's
bet.
25 right now.
I said you want to make this 5-year bet.
That's right. We said that we'd have to wait an awful long time to get that answered, though. But I am just curious, though. Now that we've heard these comments, and by the way, let's point out, Tom Holland didn't just say, look into the camera and say, I am going to be Spider-Man for the next 10 years. He didn't say that. He didn't say that. He was just kind of clarifying what he said before. So it brings up the question again. Do you think let's start with you, Kim. Do you think 5 years from now, Tom Holland is still Spider-Man?
I think 5 years from now, he's either doing his very last Spider-Man film or he'll be on promotion of the last one. But I don't think beyond 30.
You don't think close?
I don't think beyond 30. Okay, sure. Now, having saying that, sure, especially with them saying they're going to do more films and stuff like that. But you know what? I don't think beyond 30, it will be his last one if he's 30.
So you can't see. Okay, so you're thinking, yeah, maybe next years, but not beyond 30. Okay, no. Ray, now that we've heard what he had to say, is he turns 30 years old. Is he still Spider-Man when he turns 30? He's thinking.
No. Well, for me, I wouldn't want him to be Spider-Man when he's 30, just because.
Really?
I liked the Spider-Man stories when he was in high school, dealing with juggling, getting a job, like love life, like taking care of his aunt. I love that.
Right. You love that era of storytelling.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
and then like the 80s animated Spider-Man series, everyone loved it, but I didn't really like him as an adult. So for me, I wouldn't want him to be playing Spider-Man at age 30, but he probably will be.
You raise a really interesting question. I haven't really thought about it that way. Here's my first thought, though. If by the time he's 30, he will have been playing Spider-Man for 8 or 9, 10 years at that point, if he's still playing when he's 30, I kind of wonder if at that point we'll be ready to see Peter moving on with his life and being an adult and now seeing a different Spider-Man than the high school Spider, because we're getting a lot of high school Spider-Man now.
Yeah, this is supposed to be like his senior year, I think.
Yeah, or senior
he's
or
on his way to
junior,
college.
I can't remember.
No, I think it's like his last year.
He's getting, that's right.
Yeah.
So now that we would have had him in 5 different movies as Spider-Man in high school age, maybe we're ready to move on with him.
I'm ready to see him move on from high school, only because I love the work that he's done, and I'm excited to see him in a different place in life. I'm excited to, see him, sweating, with a ring in his pocket with MJ. Like, I'm excited to see that. But what's funny,
Ray's not on board with that.
No. I just wanted to point out what the chat was saying. They're mostly disagreeing with me. They want to see an older Spidey, just like you guys. So
what's funny is I wonder if in the year 2045, are we going to be sitting around having a conversation with some new kid as Spider-Man going, do you think Tom Holland will just show up out of a portal?
All right.
Wait, you know what? If they do older Spidey, it better be the one that's from the Into the Spider-Verse. The one.
Oh, like the
that's an older Spidey I want to see with one shoe on.
Do you have any money? Because I'm not covered in that area.
Yeah, I'm a little. Can I just say, the Jake Johnson's Peter Parker Spider-Man and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is like one of my all-time favorite Spider-Man renditions. I love that Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's great because he's been through it all. Nothing phases him anymore. You know what I mean?
When he's telling the story to Miles, like, I was getting myself together, getting in shape, putting in the work. And meanwhile, he's eating pizza. And his
belly.
I love the whole attitude of him. I love that so Spider-Man. Great. I would totally see Jake Johnson as Spider-Man. Man, if Spider-Man No Way Home has a portal open up and Jake Johnson as Spider-Man come walking through, it ain't going to happen. Man, awesome. I would be excited about that. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about Tom Holland now kind of clarifying his comments about his interview before? Does it change your mind about what you thought before? Or does it kind of clarify it for you? Do you think he's just maybe doing damage control? I don't know. I think it's easily explainable. What do you guys think? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 4. Kim, what is our 4th main topic today?
All right, this is coming from James D. Was reading this article on the Coming Soon website, and it says that the director of the new Morbius movie seemingly confirms Venom and Tom Hardy by saying, but when you look at the schedule and read the names like Michael Keaton, Jared Leto, Tom Hardy, then it feels cool and very exciting.
All right, thanks for sending that in, man. Of course, now look, on yesterday's show, we talked about that new clip from Morbius that they put out. Morbius's first transformation into the vampire. And it was awesome. That clip is awesome. I can't even tell you how many times I just watched again. I love the visual effects style they use for his movement. The way there's kind of that smoke whoosh that
smoky
happens. When
thing. Yes,
and
I
the
like that
sound they use when he's doing it. And even the visceral nature of this transformation on his face and everything, and that it's going to be very violent. Probably not seeing a lot of blood, but it's going to be very, very violent. It's going to be like, it just looked great. Now, one of the big questions that fans have had, even before Venom 2 came out, but especially with the post-credit scene in Venom 2, is could Venom pop up in Morbius? They're all part of Spunk, or the SSU now. Could we see Venom pop up in there? Now, who was it that sent in the question? What was the name of our question asker again?
That was from our buddy, James D.
James brings up something that maybe some of you guys caught. Maybe some of you guys caught this before. But back in August, all the way back in August, the director of the film, Daniel Espinosa, who is also, by the way, I believe that's the name of Detective Douche in Lucifer. I believe it's Daniel Espinosa. Anyway, so not the detective character from Lucifer, but director Daniel Espinosa. He did an interview back in August, and he said something that completely went under my radar until our viewer just brought it to my attention. This is what he said in this interview. It usually feels strange. This is the director talking. It usually feels strange before the day begins when you look at the schedule and stand on set yourself, Espinosa said in a translated statement. When you walk around there, the recording looks just like a Swedish production. But then when you look at the schedule and read names like Michael Keaton, Jared Leto, Tom Hardy, then it feels cool and very exciting. But once you start working, it's exactly the same thing. An actor wants a director, and actors want to be directed. Again, let's read that last part. You're standing around, you look at the schedule, and then you read the names on the schedule like Michael Keaton, Jared Leto, and Tom Hardy. Then it feels cool and very exciting. Actors want a director, and actors want to be directed. I do not know for the life of me how this evaded my radar. Because the director of Morbius just confirmed that Tom Hardy is in the movie. He just confirmed it.
Did he, or was that just the list of visitors to set that day? Maybe Tom Hardy just wanted to stop in and say, hey, love your work. Just want to chill with you,
want
man.
To have lunch? You want to have lunch? He says he looks down at the call sheet. It's the schedule for the day is what's known. In the biz, they call it the daily call sheet, right? He looks at the call sheet and he reads names. Michael Keaton, which we already knew. Jared Leto, which we already knew. And Tom Hardy. I do not know. That's big. I don't know how for the life of me that slipped under the radar. This is months old. This is months old at this point, and it completely flew under the radar for me, and I think maybe for a lot of people as well. Now, there could be a lot of things to it. You know, some people in the live chat, like CJEF in the live chat, saying maybe it was a post-credit scene. Yep, maybe. Could be a post-credit scene. That would still show up on the day on the call sheet for the day. Maybe it's a post-credit scene. Or maybe it's not. Maybe he has a more... I don't think this is going to be Morbius with special friend Venom, the movie. I don't think it's going to be that. No. But it could be more than just a post-credit scene, and could be more than just a quick cameo. You know, it could be a small role, but a role nonetheless. I'm thinking along the lines of, you know, Doctor Strange in Thor Ragnarok. Or something like that, right? Maybe something like more than just a quick little cameo, but, you know, not a significant role. I mean, I don't know. Look, and I shouldn't be surprised that them all coming, they're cousins in Spunk. Being cousins in Spunk, I shouldn't be surprised that one character may appear in another character's movie, but we have gotten now so close to this coming out that I've completely put it out of my head. And I've not even thought about Venom popping up in this movie, but now it kind of looks like it does. Kim, let me ask you, could Daniel Espinosa just be throwing a misdirect out there? Could he have misspoke? Maybe he meant to say Tom Selleck. Not that Tom Selleck's in this movie. Maybe he accidentally said Tom Hardy instead of Tom. I mean, I don't know. But I don't know. What do you make of this? What do you think is happening here? Is this enough to convince you that, oh yeah, Tom Hardy is clearly now and obviously in this movie. What do you think?
I think so, but I think it's for an end credit scene. We don't know what day he was talking about or what they were shooting that day. Personally, I feel like it was, this is the day we're shooting the end credit scene. How cool that I have all these people here. I don't think it was, I love showing up every day to Jared Leto and Tom Hardy. I don't think that's what he was saying.
Ray, what do you think? Does this convince you that we're about to see Tom Hardy in this movie? And if so, how big do you think his role could be, or how small do you think it could be?
Well, my opinions doesn't matter. But I actually think Venom is gonna they might use Venom as like the Nick Fury, the one that shows up in all the post-credit scenes and brings them all together. That's all I'm thinking.
I hadn't even thought
because of that
universe.
the universe they're creating. He might be the one that brings all of them together.
That he might be the connective tissue.
Yeah, because he's all over the place. And I want to say, if Morbius and Venom go head to head before that clip released, I'd have been like, Venom. But you don't want any piece of that vampire, bro. He's too fast. He'll just like, you won't even come back together, Venom. He would rip you into shreds and you would just be in pieces all over the floor.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still completely distracted by this theory of yours, because what you just said makes absolute total sense. Because we know, because of the end of Venom 2, we know. Okay, so obviously he's in Venom.
That was such an unexpected tie-in at the end.
Yeah, and then of course we see that he's tying in with Spider-Man, and now we know he is also appearing in Morbius. I had not even considered that this is our Nick Fury character in Spunk, or the SSU. I should start calling it the SSU.
The SSU.
He's the one who's going to be tying this whole thing together. I hadn't even. That is a C-Ray.
Oh yeah, 1 out of 1,000.
Okay, Ray.
I keep throwing that rock; it'll hit the water sometime.
Oh my God.
Anyway, guys, the question is for you. What do you think about those comments? Those now, I guess, September, October, November, those 3-month-old comments that we had just missed. Maybe you didn't miss it. Maybe you knew about it. I admit it totally went under my radar. What do you guys think about this comment? Do you think this now absolutely 100% confirms that Tom Hardy is indeed in Morbius? If so, is it just a post-credit scene? Is it something a little bit more substantial? Is it just a cameo? Maybe something bigger? Whatever you guys think about this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With all that down and out of the way, we're now going to move on and start taking your questions. Now, of course, comments first. Remember, if you've been sending in your comments, now I'm now going to turn the comments off. If you haven't you got about 15 seconds to fire in a comment or a thought if you want to fire one in on the super chat if you're watching live right now, because I'm going to turn the super chat off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's turned off. Daddy? And that's sorry. That is an inside joke. That is an inside joke that you guys do not know about.
And we'll never.
That you guys don't need to know about. You guys do not need to know about. Anyway, a little something that we talked about before the show started. Anyway. All right. Now let's go over and start taking your comments. What have these guys had to say today? Kim, what's going on?
All right. Colby says, new Hawkeye episode was really good.
I'll tell you, I didn't think it was as good as the episode 3, but I still thought it was better than episodes 1 and 2. So I'm pro on it. All right, what's next?
Mr. 47 says, I want that mug that says Thanos was right.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I thought at first it said Thanos can wait. Like I thought it was like a coffee joke or something because I didn't really catch it, but I probably said Thanos was right. All right, what's next?
John Brown says, Amy Pascal's recent comment about the with great power line makes me think Toby will say the line to Tom as a passing of the torch moment.
I mean, look, we've talked about that specific thing before. Could at some point in this movie, Toby say to Tom Holland, with great power comes great responsibility? I think that's a very good, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I think there's a very good chance of that as well. All right, what's next?
Stefan de Lint Waters says, told you guys yesterday I'd see Don't Look Up today, and I'm saddened to say it's not great. Its comedy didn't work for me, and it failed as a satire.
Again, I'm very disappointed to be hearing, number one, the mixed reactions from that, and obviously your reaction to it. I'm very saddened. I've been very excited about this movie, but thank you for giving us the insight on that stuff, and appreciate that, man. All right, what's next?
James Lee says, going to Spider-Man No Way Home midnight first screening.
Nice.
Forgot people usually scream every minute in these very first sessions. Personally, not a fan. Want to enjoy it ASAP with some silence. Would be possible.
You know what? I'm a little bit different than you, James. I love the event atmosphere of a big blockbuster film. I love feeling like I'm in the stands, in Buffalo at a Bills game, just finished tailgating, and everybody's rowdy and ready to go. I can come back and watch the movie again if I miss a couple of lines. If I miss a couple of lines, I can come back and watch it again. But listen, there's many hundreds and thousands of moments like this. But the good example of that is, of course, Endgame with the on your left, the portal scene. Who would ever trade in that experience when you were in the movie theater? The first time you were in the theater and that happened, the energy in the crowd, that positive wave of enthusiasm stuff. I tell you what, I wouldn't trade that for the world. Yeah, you absolutely missed some moments, but you can come back and watch it again. And I personally love it. I love being in a movie. See, this is how I explain it. That's where the magic of the movies happens, that you can never replicate in your stupid living room. It's when you're laughing with all these other people, and you're crying with all these other people, and you gasp with all these other people, or you roar and cheer with all these other people. The movie is the same movie whether you're watching it on your screen at home or watching a movie theater. But of course, the bigger screen, the bigger sound, all that kind of stuff. But it's the magic of the movies is when you get in there with other people and you share that experience with like total strangers. Can't replace it for me. So I get where you're coming from, James. I just look at it a little bit differently than you. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, man. All right, what's next?
Wiley Todd says, it's Halo Day, John. Halo Day. Let's go.
We gotta go, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, everybody. Gotta go. Ray's gotta run. I remember when we brought that up before the show started, I was like, Halo Day. It's like Ray had this look on his face. It's like, why the hell did I not call in sick today? Ray wanted to go home, play some Halo.
No, I said I should have stayed out in the rain.
Oh, yes.
Gotten myself sick.
Gotten yourself sick. All right. What's next?
Colby says, John, if you didn't like the new episode of Hawkeye and haven't planned to do a spoiler discussion, I'm going to tell Ann to hide all of your Zevia.
Well, it'd be hard because it's a lot of it. I got a lot of Zevia in the
Yeah,
house.
he does.
But yeah, no, I like it. We're gonna do our post game open sport discussion today, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. New York time. Come and join us for that. All right, what's next?
Caden Stab says, Hawkeye went 0 to 100 real quick. So freaking hyped.
I didn't feel that.
He must have hated the first episodes then and really liked it.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that's good.
Maybe,
That's
Maybe
good.
he's talking about the intensity of the emotion.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Because
Oh no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that he's
Okay,
getting
we'll
into
take
it.
that as a good thing, Caden. All right, what's next?
Johnny Got Lost says, it's going to be fun to see J. Jonah Jameson have a field day when he sees 3 Spider-Men in his
Yeah, that's
city.
really great.
I hope so. Listen, there's a
That'll be
theory,
funny.
There's a theory going around. I don't know this, but there's a theory going around that we're going to see two J. Jonah Jamesons in this. I don't know if that's true.
Multiverse.
I don't know if that's true.
Multiverse.
Will he play both though?
Oh, of course he would. He would play the J. Jonah from Toby's universe that has the gray classic J. Jonah hair.
right.
And then he'd play this new one that's balding and all that kind of stuff.
okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
think it's interesting. All right, what's next?
Casey Mack says, according to the villain's spot that was just dropped, it was said that Doc Ock is looking for his machine from Spider-Man 2. This must mean he was taken before he even decided to take his own life.
It doesn't necessarily mean that. Like I caught it when Melina said, well, not when Melina said that, when it was said in the spot, whereas what have you done to my machine, right? I still believe we're going to see Doc Ock team up with Peter in this. I think, now remember, Melina initially said that he is taken immediately at that last moment we see him in the movie from Spider-Man 2. So maybe they changed that, but I don't think it necessarily means they did, but we will find out, because that was certainly, Casey, an interesting thing in that spot. So let's see where they go with it. All right, what's next?
All right, Caden Stab says, some of the No Way Home castings have been removed from Google and IMDb. Lines up with leaks. Everyone start being real careful. Just a friendly heads up.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I tell everybody, don't rely on IMDb for information for a movie that hasn't yet come out. A movie that comes out, IMDb rock solid. But before a movie comes out, you shouldn't rely on what's there. And that's just a good example of that. Thanks for sharing that, Caden. All right, what's next?
Mr. 47 says, loving all the Christmassy elements in Hawkeye. 'Tis the season. Time for hot cocoa and caroling after we look at some Christmas lights.
You know what? I'll go so far as say Hawkeye is far more a Christmas show than Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Here we go.
Because Christmas is actually at the heart of what this is.
Well, yeah.
This is about him wanting that this Christmas is too special. I have to be home with my kids for Christmas. It's a part of the story.
Except you put him in a body bag.
Except I put it in a body bag.
Santa's delivering that body too.
He added a little.
Ho, ho, ho.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Here's your dad.
Therapy. All right. What's next?
What's next is Die Hard is a Christmas movie. William says, got my tickets for Wednesday, December 15th, 10 p.m. Israel time.
Nice.
12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't worry, not going to spoil it for you. Hashtag excited.
You know, right about that time, we're just going to be ending our episode of the John Campea Show that day. So, yeah.
cool.
So, as we are ending next Wednesday, the 15th, John Campea Show, that's when some of the first audiences are going to be seeing it for our international friends. Very excited for you guys.
So we get the segments up and then we go straight to the movie? Is that the way that's going to go?
Well, no, that's Wednesday. So we
okay.
see the movie on Thursday. That's when it opens in North America. So we don't get to see it. Like some countries, it opens Wednesday, which really means Tuesday for some people. For us in America, first day is Thursday, and that's when our private screening is. All right. What's next?
Al Renshaw says, hey, Kim, suggestions for punishments for the bets.
This guy,
He
Al.
has to wear a tutu for a week on the show. He has to rewatch Thunder Force and Highlander
no,
2
that ain't
and give his reaction. Or 3, ketchup and eggs, the winner.
No, the ketchup and eggs is never going to happen.
Yeah,
but Kim and I do need to work.
We
So
still
for
need
those of you
to
who don't know,
iron
Kim and
that
I
out.
are forming a bet right now about the opening weekend box office totals for Spider-Man No Way Home. She believes it'll hit 250 million. I don't believe it will. So we're setting the over-under 249.5, which means if it doesn't hit 250 million, but it hits 249.6, we're going to give her the win. So we're setting the over and under at 249.5. We have not yet negotiated what the stakes are.
We haven't. I've been thinking of some stuff.
Yeah, it
should
ain't going to
be-
be ketchup on eggs, though.
It should be something
TikTok
that could be done in
dance.
front of the camera. Like,
was-
what's the worst thing that you guys can eat and just
I
bet
was-
that?
Oh, I'm
I
not.
was-
No more.
No,
eating
not
stuff.
ketchup and eggs,
No,
but pickles. You
I
said you
have-
didn't like pickles.
Oh, I can't.
I hate
stand
pickles.
Oh, I hate
And
pickles.
is there something you don't like eating? Just do it that way. So it'll be, something on camera at least. Something that could be, one on camera.
I have thoughts. I have ideas.
Well, we'll discuss.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some negotiations here.
But
All right.
Al is always on these bets.
Yeah, Al
His
loves the
comments
bets.
are all on these bets.
All right. What's next?
Rylan Holman sends in a 1999 super chat.
Oh, thank you, Rylan.
You. I originally thought they'd show Toby and Andrew in the second trailer. Then I thought it would be in the third. Now I think even if there is a third, one won't be trailer. Yep.
If there is a third one, they won't be in the trailer.
Thank you. Hopefully they will, but doubting it.
You know what? There is a very, very good chance. One of our viewers brought up the other day. There's a very, very good chance that if there is a third trailer, and I still think there will be. I don't know that there will be, but I still think there will be. That they may hold off on Toby and Andrew until after the movie opens, because for Avengers Endgame and stuff like that, none of the returning people from the snap were in the trailers, but they did start popping up in the spots that came after opening day of Endgame, and maybe that's what they do here. So it's not a bad theory. It's not a bad theory. All right, thanks for that, Rylan. All right, what's next?
Kunal Dixit says, hi, John. I recently discovered your podcast and I'm really enjoying it.
Thank you, Kunal. Appreciate that, man.
I got tickets to see Spider-Man No Way Home on December 16th, and I'm excited. It's my late brother's birthday that day, so it's a bittersweet day.
You know what? One of the most beautiful things about movies, I was just talking about this on a companion video yesterday, is that movies become companions on our journey.
They do.
Somebody else wrote into me yesterday saying that their uncle, they weren't as close to their uncle as Uncle Ben and Peter were, but he was really, really close to his uncle, and they used to watch these movies together, and his uncle passed away, and this is going to be his first Spider-Man movie without his uncle.
Wow.
And we talked about how, like, the greatest thing about movies, we always talk about movies as experiential events. And they become shared experiences. Shared experiences. And as shared experiences, they become some of the most cherished and fond memories that we have. You know, you guys know, right before I decided to leave my corporate job and go out on my own and do the John Campea Show, one of the things that kind of spurred me on was the death of my best friend growing up. And whenever I think about Brendan, I always go, I mean, there's obviously a million memories, but the very first thing I always think of is that time when he and I, when we were a lot younger, getting on a bus, going to downtown Hamilton, to Jackson Square, to the Famous Players Theaters that was in there, where they were showing Michael Keaton's Batman.
Oh, wow.
And it was the first time I ever saw a line for a movie. First time I ever saw a line for a movie. But he and I had that shared experience. I never knew at the time that shared experience would become so important to me until after I lost him and after everyone lost him. But now when I think of him, that's the first thing I think about, and it makes me smile. And that's one of the powerful things about movies, is as those shared experiences. So listen, Kunal, if this movie hopefully what this movie does is we'll put a smile on your face when you think of your brother and stuff like that. Anyway, it's a really emotional time for you, obviously, and thank you for sharing it with all of us, man. We appreciate that. All right, what's next?
All right. Al Renshaw says, Chef Pleasures is the star. Big surprises.
A portal opens.
I can't. I'll never be able to run away from that.
Ray walks through the portal.
Chef's hat in hand.
Chef's hat in hand.
Who's hungry?
Silk shorts.
You guys are fighting too much. You look famished.
Oh my God.
Somebody, I'm putting it out there right now to all of our viewers. Whichever one of our viewers has any artistic ability, send me a meme.
I heard there's already one coming.
Send me a meme of Chef Pleasures with Ray's face, and then under that it says, "Who's hungry?" I want
God.
that image. Somebody
I can just see him like in black socks and sandals and like red satin
No, someone's gonna add a tutu.
boxers
For sure. There'll be a chef hat and a tutu.
with ketchup and eggs on the
Oh,
boxers.
yeah, on the plate.
Chef Pleasures, Who's Hungry? That's what I
Holy
want.
cow.
All right, what's next?
Dalton Gray says Morbius is gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Kim and Ray, you're the best. John,
thank
you the man.
Morbius is going to be so good, man. I tell you, Dalton, I am so excited for this. Like, I was already looking forward to that clip, though.
Oh
It
man,
looks
Put it to 11.
terrifying.
So
That guy's gonna terrify me.
Put it to 11. All right, what's next?
Takio the Vintage sends in a 1384 super chat.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Takio.
Doc Ock was taken right when he was strangling Peter, Toby. That's the only point in the movie where he's evil and knows about Peter being Spider-Man. So if Doc Ock went through the portal, so did Toby.
Well, first of all, who said anything about a portal? Did you see Venom 2? Was there a portal?
True.
No. There ain't no portal opened up and then Venom went, I wonder what that is. I'm just going to walk through it. There was a flash of light and all of a sudden he was there. So that's a lot of assumptions. I mean, that's not impossible, Tikio. That's not impossible at all. But it's making some assumptions. Number one, remember, Alfred Molina did say, now they may have changed their minds, but did say that his last moment in the movie, Spider-Man 2, is when he's taken and appears here. That's what he said. Now, again, they may have changed it. There's nothing has been said that there are portals that people come walking through. We already know that's not how it happens with Venom. So maybe yes, maybe no. Look, again, I don't know why anybody's still discussing about, is Toby and Peter? Everybody knows Toby and Peter are going to be in this movie. Everybody, we don't have to look for clues about how they're going to be in it or not. We don't have to look at leaked soundtracks or whatever else. Everybody's known for a year, except for Kimberly Ann Curran, who is going to look like the smartest damn person in the world if we come out of this movie and find that they're not in it. She's going to look like a genius. But besides her, the rest of us, right or wrong, we all know. We all know they're there. So who cares at this point? Anyway, thanks for sending that in, Tekio. Appreciate it, man. All right, what's next?
John Redcorn says Lakers finally won. Still not getting out the West.
You know what? Here's what everybody forgets, Ray. Because what are they now? They're 13-12 right now after beating Boston. They beat a good Boston team.
Yeah.
Here's what everybody forgets. When LeBron first went to the Miami Heat, his first season with the Miami Heat, I believe they were 12-12. with all the thing about the big three and blah, and LeBron is taking his talents to South Beach and blah, blah. I believe they started 12. It might have been 10-10 or 12-12, whatever it was, one of those things, right? And everybody's like, oh, well, this was a bust and blah, blah, blah. Guess what happened that season? They won the East and then went to the NBA Finals.
The strong teams are the ones that last all these 81 games. They might not start strong, but if you end strong, you're there. You know what I mean?
And look, you start throwing in a Russell Westbrook into that mix, you start throwing in all these other players, it's going to take them time to gel.
But here's the problem with yesterday's win with Russell Westbrook. It's kind of like fool's gold to me because I saw him make a three-pointer. And that never happened. So if he's making threes, they'll probably win the championship.
Yeah, and if somebody over there can teach Carmelo Anthony how to play defense, I don't know if anybody's ever thought to maybe teach that dude how to play. Listen, I'm just saying.
He can score, man.
Do not count that team out of coming out of the West.
Yeah.
Do not count that team coming out of the West. All right, sorry about that. What's next?
Casey Max says, John, excited. We got our first look at Sonic 2 today, and a trailer will be coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, so a poster came out today, and tomorrow is the first Sonic 2. Everybody's been wondering, like, hey, man, it's been forever since I saw that very surprisingly charming Sonic movie.
So cute.
I didn't think it was great, but it was way better than I thought it would be. I got
my Jim Carrey fix. I was missing my Jim Carrey. And he delivered.
He carries
classic Jim Carrey.
He carries that movie.
Yeah.
And of course you got John Ralphio as the voice of Sonic. That was great too.
John Ralphio.
That whole scene, the best scene in that movie to me, one of the funniest scenes I've seen in years, was that whole scene when Cyclops' the actor's name?
James
Marsden. Thank you. When James Marsden, his girlfriend, and they've got Sonic in the bag trying to go up the elevator, and they're all like, "Is that your child in the bag?" No, it's not our child. And it's like that whole scene. I was laughing so hard on that. That scene was so good. But anyway, yes, the new trailer's coming tomorrow, so I'm sure we'll be talking about that tomorrow. All right, what's next?
Daniel Lyon sends in a 1999 super chat.
Thank you, Daniel.
So much. Hello, John and crew. Got 3 tickets to Spider-Man on the 18th, bringing my parents. It will be their first at an IMAX theater.
Wow.
My parents aren't so crazy about the movie. I just want to spend time with them. Also, John, I was rooting for you on the 29th. I was seeing Ticket Watch 2021, just craziness, and had a lot of fun, but the trailer didn't come. Congratulations on your win with Ray, and also happy belated birthday, Kim.
Yeah, whatever.
But you know what? The parents thing is sweet.
That is sweet. That is very sweet.
They're going to a movie. They're going to be blown away by the IMAX screen.
If they've never been to an IMAX screen before, that's going to be a different experience.
Yeah, especially if they don't care about the movie, but they're still going. That's love right there.
I'll tell you what, one of the things that I love most about going home for Christmas is that every year we take my parents to a movie.
I love that.
Did we go to the movies?
Yeah, we saw Aquaman and we saw Rogue One.
That's right, we saw Aquaman.
The unfortunate circumstance with Rogue One is we all got the text afterwards that Carrie Fisher had just passed away.
I remember that. And my dad loved that movie.
Yeah.
My dad loved that movie.
Well, it's so fitting that we were watching that and we just saw her, or at least a part of her on that screen.
Yeah, and we came out of the theater, turned our phones back on us like, Carrie Fisher died. Yeah, I remember that. That's right. All right, what's next?
James Argenta says 60-second Boba Fett teaser just dropped. Looks great to me.
Yeah, you're going to get a lot of these new spots coming out now that we're kind of in the closing days. I haven't seen the new one yet, but I'll look forward to watching it. Thanks for putting that on my radar, James. All right, what's next?
The man with the master plan says, sorry late to the game, but that was some pathetic attempt of catch up. Need another bet? I hope No Way Home will live up to the hype. Ray's hot, Kim's are awesome.
Well,
Ray,
listen.
You're hot. Uh-oh.
There was plenty of ketchup.
Yeah, plenty for John at least. Because his face and his eyes watering, I felt really bad afterwards, so I'm sorry.
No. You don't need to feel bad. I'm the one who made the bet. I'm the one who was so sure that trailer was going to drop on the 29th. That was my own fault. But the most important thing to me was winning something against you. And you won.
One time. And the last time.
All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw says, John, I don't like Hawkeye. Feige, you will.
Well, let's see how it finishes out. Because listen, right now, I'll say it straight up. Right now, I am not loving the Hawkeye series. I have come to start to enjoy it, which is a big step up from episodes 1 and 2. So I've enjoyed the last couple ones. But this is continuing a trend because let's say Hawkeye doesn't end strong. and I'm not saying it won't, I'm just saying let's say it doesn't, then that would mean for me that 5 out of the last 6 MCU property things I've seen, I haven't loved.
Yeah.
Because, okay, I loved WandaVision. Love. Okay, but since WandaVision, we had Falcon the Winter Soldier, which I liked, but didn't love. Loki, which I liked, but didn't love. Black Widow, which I liked, but didn't love. Shang-Chi, freaking loved. Okay, so then there's a Shang-Chi. But then after Shang-Chi, Eternals, which I like, but didn't love. And then Hawkeye, which right now I'm liking, but I certainly don't love. That would mean 5 out of the last 6 of the MCU things I've seen, I wasn't crazy about. Again, I liked everything. I did. I enjoyed it. The bottom line is I enjoyed everything. We'll see how Hawkeye ends. Maybe Hawkeye ends really badly and I don't like the show. Maybe it finishes really strong. But I'm not accustomed to this. Like, I can't ever remember, in the last 10 years, I don't remember going more than one film going, I liked it, but I didn't love it with the MCU stuff, right?
Yeah.
And lately, I don't know if it's Kevin Feige is bitten off more than he can chew. I don't know if they're making too much content. I don't know. Ray, what do you think?
I'm telling you that all the time you're investing in these shows, in the end, is going to pay off. I've always felt that these shows weren't supposed to be blockbusters. They're just supposed to be building blocks to the end of this phase or whatever. So I think right now, like, them not being that great, I just think it'll pay off in the end. Feige wouldn't lead you to a empty path.
But you can't just make your shows as a build up to something. Your show's got to be
right.
really
I see
good
that.
too, right?
I see that point, but I believe they're using these Disney Plus shows to showcase lesser known characters.
I agree.
And tell their story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because releasing a movie for each one, they would all bomb, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that it'll pay off in the end.
By the way, a bunch of people in the live chat are asking me, but John, what about What If? Oh yeah, I forgot about What If. Yeah, slide that What If into the not so good one too. What If had a couple of really good
The animation
episodes.
style I loved.
The animation style was pretty cool. The Doctor Strange episode was great. I really did like a lot the Hank Pym. I actually think the Hank Pym episode was probably my favorite episode, even over the Doctor Strange one. But a lot of them were just
The Thor one. Oh my god.
Yeah, a lot of my.
Oh man, I was cringing just listening to it. While I
did not like the Thor one, and whatever.
Bro!
Yeah, so What If is enough, but I'm not going to count What If. I'm not going to count What If. All right, what's next?
Chips Bewick says Professor X will ask Spidey if he's a mutant once he appears in No Way Home. Over under
5%.
Yeah,
Because number
I'm with
one,
you.
I think it's 6% that he even shows up. So there's a chance. And then if he does, I don't think. Are you a mutant? I don't know. I don't think he does
That
that.
was great.
So I'll go under. I'll go
Are you a
5%.
mutant?
5%. All right, what's next?
So on the note of what you were saying, Trey says Echo doesn't seem interesting enough for her own series.
Not yet.
Not yet. She better get a hell of a lot more interest. Like I liked her in episode 3. I liked her, but you're right. Do I look at that character and go, this character needs her own series? Like, it's not like I keep forgetting the actors, like Asian Jim. I keep forgetting the actor's name. From The Office.
And Jim Halpert.
No, the guy that was in WandaVision.
Oh yeah.
And Ant-Man. How can I not get his name?
It is something Park, isn't it? Well,
Yeah,
guys
Randall Park.
Randall Park.
Thank you.
Red Comment put in Randall Park as well in there, by the way. So did Disney Guy 96. Randall Park, and then Two Broke Girls of Thor.
Oh, Kat
Dennings.
Yeah.
When you see Randall Park and Kat Dennings, you're like, they need to make that series.
I will watch this. Yes.
They need to make that series. I can't even remember the name of the characters, but it's
like Marvel X-Men kind of
something. They need to make that series.
It's perfect for Disney Plus.
It's the most Disney Plus.
It's Marvel's experimenting ground. It's Disney Plus.
But you're right. You're right, Trey. I have not felt that for Echo yet. Now, Grant, we got 2 more episodes to go. So maybe we'll. But you're right. Right now, I'm not intrigued by an Echo series at all. Not yet. We'll see. All right, what's next?
Bobby Harris says, it's frustrating to see Kate get her butt kicked when she's supposed to have a black belt. I want to see her kick some butt.
Lots of people have black belts.
Yeah.
When you're talking about fighting somebody who is programmed as a Black Widow, when you're talking about Echo, who has been doing this a lot longer than Kate. Kate got started late. Echo looks like from birth, she was probably being trained. So, and listen, there are a lot of black belts in the world. So it's not whatever. So yeah, she's going to get her butt kicked a lot. She ain't a superhero. Not yet, at any rate, but that's where we're at. All right, what's next?
Colton Roberts says, I love this show. Every day I end up saying big surprises.
Big surprises. Thank you, Colton.
It might be annoying to my family. Thank you, John, Kim, and the Chef of Pleasure.
Thank you, Colton.
He
Appreciate
might be at
that.
the dinner table just like bringing that up and just goes,
Dad, I have a surprise.
I decided to make some fish too. Big surprises. Yeah, thank you for that, Colton. Thanks for being here and being
please.
part of the show.
We're trying to eat, honey.
All right, what's next?
Elmas says, hey, John and Co. I just saw Dune in IMAX and I had the whole theater to myself and it was amazing. I'm going again tomorrow. I can't wait.
First of all, I'm shocked it's still playing in some theaters. I didn't even know it was still playing in
they
some
brought it
theaters.
back.
So good on you, man. If you're able to, I know Anne is dying. You guys have no idea how much Anne loved Dune.
Really?
Like when the movie ended, I thought she was enjoying it, but I turned to Anne. I said, "So what did you think?" As the credits were rolling, she just kept looking at the screen. She goes, "This is better than Star Wars," which I'm looking up divorce lawyers on my phone at that point. And after the shock of that wore off, but no, then she came home. We went and watched it again. Then she watched it literally 7, 8, 9 times on HBO. And then when they pulled, she didn't realize they were pulling it because she came into my office prior to a John Campea show starting. Like I was doing like writing.
Wait, they
stuff.
pulled it?
Oh yeah. Like
You can't finish it?
No, all the HBO stuff they put on for like a certain number of days, and then they pull it off, and then it'll go back on sometime in the future. But Anne came running into my office. It was like 6:30 in the morning, and she goes, "Dune's gone." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "I just went on HBO to keep watching it, and Dune's gone." I'm like, well, yeah, and like with all the HBO movies this year that they put in theaters and on HBO at the same time, they pull them after a certain amount of time. They'll go back on later. And she looked like, what's that meme of that comedian? I can't remember which comedian does it, but he's got that meme where he looks like he's totally coked out. It's like, you got any more of that?
Dave Chappelle?
It was Dave Chappelle's meme, yes. You got any more of that? Whatever. Like Anne was looking like, you got any more
With
of
the
that?
white
dude?
on her lips?
Like she
Oh,
was like
God.
tweaking out.
But on a side note, have you ever had a theater to yourself? For any movie? I remember mine. And that's because of Anne. She stood me up. It was because she was supposed to come after school, after her class.
Right.
But it went on too long and she couldn't get there. But I was in a theater by myself watching, what's it called? Undisputed, Wesley Snipes, when he was in the jail, he was a boxer.
Oh,
What's it called? Undisputed or Undefeated, something like that. But yeah, I was in there by myself and I loved it. I was like, yes, me boxing.
I don't think I've ever
You've never
I've
had
been
like
in a theater where it's like me and like one other person, but I don't think I've ever had a theater all to myself. I don't think that's ever happened for me. All right, what's next?
Ethan Holgate says, hi guys, based on the trailer, I don't feel surprised by the mixed reviews on Don't Look Up because I feel it's going to be the kind of comedy poking fun at a certain kind of idiocracy in society, which I can see being mixed for some people, but I could be totally wrong, just an assumption.
Yeah, there's some people that need to be poked fun at, but I mean, like even hearing from critics that would also agree with that political message, not liking the movie too. And that just means you're not telling the story right. That means there's something missing there. But again, I still haven't seen the movie myself. Maybe I'll love it. I don't know, but it's sounding like the kind of movie that I wouldn't enjoy. All right, what's next?
Fanimator says, how would you rank the Marvel Disney Plus shows? 1 WandaVision, 2 Loki, 3 Falcon and Winter Soldier, 4 Hawkeye, and 5 What If?
I generally don't do rankings, Fanimator. You know that, but I will say this. Easily far and above everything else is WandaVision. WandaVision, it's to me, it's not even close. That show was spectacular. That show week after week after week had everybody buzzing and theorizing and
God.
whatever. It was a frenzy. I think it was almost a mistake to lead off with it, to be honest with you. It was almost a mistake because maybe the greatness of WandaVision is what made me kind of feel like Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't quite, because Falcon and Winter Soldier is good. It's a good show. They do some really heavy, great episodes too. But yeah, there's WandaVision and then there's everything else for me. which has been good. I've enjoyed it. It's WandaVision. I don't know. Either of you guys, would you pick one over WandaVision? I'm just curious.
Of any of the shows?
Of any of the Disney Plus shows so far, do you think any of them have been better than WandaVision?
For me, no, because it created something. Everyone's like, oh, it's never been done. Yeah, it's been done in a different way. It literally created something that has never been done.
Yeah.
That was so unique.
So good. All right, what's next?
Nicolo, is that what?
Nicholas?
Okay, Proesto says, new reports are out that No Way Home will get 250 million domestic and around 600 million worldwide in the opening weekend. If it's true, it's unreal, and it also means that Kim's wins.
Yeah, if it doesn't do it, but I don't see it doing 250. But it could.
Everyone else does, John.
It could. Well, yeah, but everybody else is usually wrong. Whenever you're part of the everyone else. No, this is also when I'm a part. Even when I'm a part of the everyone else. Everyone else is usually wrong. So whatever. But a lot of people are ready to say, John, no, you said possibly 250 million. It's actually, the reports are out now, it's possibly 500 million. It's going to break. No. Listen, whenever you're talking about opening weekend box office, you're only ever talking about domestic. You're not talking about worldwide. There's no point in discussing worldwide because every movie opens in a different number of countries at different times. So there's no point. There's no point in comparing a movie that opens in 8 countries one weekend versus another movie that opened in 45 countries on one weekend. So that's why whenever you hear discussion about opening weekend box office, you are only talking about domestic. Whether Spider-Man No Way Home can hit that 250 million, we'll see. But listen, even if it doesn't, if it goes over 175, that's stupid. It's just straight up stupid. It is easily going to be the biggest Spider-Man opening ever, and it's in a pandemic era. So, I mean, I don't even want to tell you what my mind's going to be thinking if it does hit 250 million. I mean, we'll see. All right, what's next?
Andy sends in a $10 super chat. Thank you. Finally got a PS5 from Walmart with Walmart Plus, which I got last minute. It was so surreal that I could actually get one in my cart and then go check out. It was so calm that I even hesitated buying one.
Yeah, there must be something wrong. This can't be going this smoothly. I know, it's great. I got my PS5. I haven't had a chance to play around with it a lot lately. I've been fiddling with it. It's just really good finally seeing it sitting there in my living room. All right, good. Congratulations to you, Andy.
Well, let's hope he has it in his hands. Like it's just not an order yet because we know how cancellation goes. But knock on wood, hopefully that won't happen.
Well, you just jinxed it for Andy now.
Oh, now if it happens, then
that's your fault. It's all Ray's fault.
Oh, yeah.
It was Ray all along. All right, what's next?
Paths Unwritten says, are Toby, Andrew, and others appearing included in potential future roles from their original contracts, or are those expired and these are new contracts?
No, all the old contracts are expired. Those are all expired now. Good. That's a very good question, though, Paths Unwritten. Excellent question to ask. All right, what's next?
Yana says, I guess AT was bought Stark from another universe.
No idea what he's talking about. Sorry about that, Yana. All right, what's next?
Enrique Caceres says, John, you got to watch Big Mouth on Netflix. One of the best raunchy, filthy comedies. Also nominated for multiple Emmys and with surprise voice actors.
Yeah, it totally looks like a show that's right up my alley, actually. And it's funny, my buddy Cliff, who works in the industry, he and I were just having dinner the other night. He's like, I don't have a lot of time to watch TV shows. And he goes, I'll watch Big Mouth because it's really funny. And so, okay. So I've been having a lot of people tell me it looks very good to me. I just haven't had time to watch it, but at some point I'm going to get on Big Mouth because a lot of my favorite people are involved with it too. So I do want to check it out. All right, what's next?
Raymond Verrata says, why do we panic at the penultimate episode in a 6-episode season? Loki solved it with a cliffhanger and season 2.
Yeah, but there are mixed opinions, Raymond, about how well they were able to do it, right? I mean, not everybody loved the ending of Loki. And getting to an ending doesn't mean you got to an ending well. And it does feel to me like we are, if you look at Hawkeye as a 3-act story, Act 1 is episodes 1 and 2, Act 2 is episodes 3 and 4, and Act 3 is episodes 5 and 6. We're in the 3rd act.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you this too. We are 2 episodes left, and I am now enjoying the show. but there's still no clear narrative of what the show is. Like we're just even starting to get into, like, just now they have referenced that a certain thing in the show might be important. They're just getting to that now. It feels like, to end this in a satisfying way and to really bring this home strong, they've got a lot to cover in just 2 episodes left. So
I'm worried that it's going to end very abruptly.
Yes.
And it's going to feel like,
boy.
man, there's so much more you could have said. There's so much more you could have done, especially with the mom. I feel like she just has so much to do and say, and we're not exploring it, but
Kevin
we'll see.
Feige has you where he wants you. Because episode 5 is going to be bonkers.
I hope so. Kingpin.
Bonkers. Watch.
Or something else. Or Boner. Boner shows up in episode 5.
Okay.
All right, what's next?
Sam Malabi says, Hawkeye is really my favorite show since WandaVision. I really enjoyed it. So it's good. Maybe after it ends, it'll become my favorite.
Hey, listen, fingers crossed, Sam. I'm hoping these last 2 episodes are so strong they make us look back at the entire series as being really fantastic. And listen, only 2 episodes left, but still 2 episodes to go, right? So let's see and hope that they can really bring it home strong. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, Sam. What's next?
Michael Brandy says, the love Dr. Campea. Oh, I double booked. Thanks, Doc.
Look, again, the story of the point of the double booking story is this. Anybody can get 2 dates. You may think you can't. You can. Everybody can get 2 dates. It takes a special kind of stupid to double book those dates. That takes a level of incoherence and cluelessness and unawareness of your surroundings that is rarely seen. That story's not a good look on me. All right, what's next?
Shuvo Rahman says, I think Hawkeye dipped in quality again. How much can they fit into last 2 episodes? There will be a lot of disappointed fans.
Maybe, but he's still got, and probably, I'm guessing, an hour and 10 minutes of story to tell. There's still an hour and 10 minutes of story to tell. I think this show has me, this literally, right now I feel this, and I mean this honestly. As much as I am now getting on board with Hawkeye, and I'm starting to enjoy it, this series could have been 3 episodes. You know what? I take it back. This series should have just been a movie.
A Christmas movie.
I feel like through just 4 episodes, I already feel like a good 40% of it has just been unnecessary filler. So, I mean, I don't know. But again, I feel like it's found its stride since episode 3. I feel like it's beginning to find its stride, and I'm looking forward to them really bringing it home strong. So
do you think the MCU will come to a point where they put movies from side characters onto Disney Plus? Like movies, not series, not let's do a Hope Van Dyne series, like a movie. Like, do you think they're at a place in the streaming wars where they would go, you know what, let's just do this as a movie?
You know what? I think yes. Because look at what Warner Brothers is doing right now. They've got their Batgirl movie coming, right? They're just going straight to Warner Brothers with it. I do think you're going to see them look at that as a possible. Now, look, obviously Disney Plus gets more benefit if it's a series.
Yep.
Sure.
That's what I was going to say.
Sure.
Because they have, again, you can drop a movie once and it's like there. It had you put out an 8-episode WandaVision or a 9-episode WandaVision.
We're setting our alarms for midnight.
That's right. People are setting their alarms. People are changing their works. People are calling in sick to work. It's literally the focus of conversation for over 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they will experiment with it. But right now, this series formula for them is working. Maybe. But listen, other than WandaVision, their series have not been living up to the quality standards of the movies for me. But, we'll see how that goes. All right, what's next?
Sebastian Gonzalez says, hoping to see Toby and Andrew in No Way Home.
You will.
I really enjoy the movie regardless. If they are, I just might yell big surprises.
Yeah.
Ray kills me
I
with
hear
that.
in the theater. I hope I hear it in the theater.
As soon as, if we, all across America, when Andrew or Toby first, there are going to be a couple of voices in every theater across America yelling out,
no.
surprise!
Oh my God, I want to see
Hawkeye
it.
commercial did it, right?
Yeah, even though I swear they must be watching this because even the Hawkeye commercial's like, the big surprises are still coming. It's like, they're all watching Ray Aura.
They could use any other synonym for big.
Ray Aura is now the man of the people. He is the man of the people.
To fight John.
Fight John.
And this war.
And surprises. All right, what's next?
Al Renshaw says Chef Pleasure and Campea Dr. Love need to collaborate.
We're going to write a book one of these days. Dr. Love and Chef Pleasure.
Come on, Food Network.
How to build a strong relationship.
Come on, Food
or
Network.
a short one.
I can't.
I
cannot.
There's $1 million seller right there. All right, what's next?
Raymond Verrata says, if someone sees Spider-Man first and it's long, let us know when is the best time to go pee. Good friends were helpful at Endgame.
By the way, there's
an app.
There's an app.
Is it still on?
I believe it's still out there. It's called
Cool.
Run P. It's called Run P. Go on. It was on Android and iOS. So yeah, I don't know if they're going to have a listing for it up right now, but as soon as the first public screening comes out, there'll be it. So there's an app for that.
There's also another app to help with that. It's called WebMD. Because if you're constantly going to the restroom, there might be a different sort of problem.
All right, what's next?
I cannot with you two today. Elizabeth Gerardo says, best character in Hawkeye, Pizza Dog.
Oh, and that's what Ann thinks. My wife,
he's so cute.
as soon as Pizza Dog shows up on screen, and it's just like,
him behind the ears.
Even when you hear him in the background walking around with his jingle bells, it's like, where's he at? Where's he at?
where's Pizza Dog? All right, what's next?
Chi-Town Rules 09
Well,
says,
wait a second. What just came from it? What was that?
there's a little doggy go.
Do that again.
My God, you're going to bring the dogs in here.
Someone's going to make that their ringtone now.
Oh, God. Chi-Town Rules 09 says, a couple weekends ago, I got to catch Eternals at Cinesphere.
Nice.
Can't wait to make it back during the summer.
Yeah, look, it's not in my top half of favorite MCU movies. But I do enjoy Eternals. That movie had a depth to it and a scope to it. And the one negative thing about Eternals, though, to me is that one of the things I said I worried about coming out of it. When you come out of Eternals and you're like, Arsham the Judge just appeared over the world. Who the hell cares if Hawkeye gets his trick arrows back? Who the hell cares if this guy can get home for Christmas on time? Arsham the Judge just appeared over the globe. The creator of the universe saying, I will return for judgment. Nothing else matters.
John.
Yes.
How important is the Eternals movie to the MCU? Because I still haven't seen it, and I don't care about spoilers. That's fine. But I still haven't seen it, but I'm still on the fence of, do I need to see this movie?
It's everything. See, the thing about Eternals is it refocuses and adjusts our understanding of what has and has not been important in the MCU.
Okay.
When you talk about the Celestials and the creators of the universe who created our sun and seeded the worlds with life.
So it's just adding foundation to
and
what
now,
we already know.
God, it fundamentally changes the way we as audiences watching the MCU,
okay.
It fundamentally changes our understanding of the very nature of the universe of the MCU.
Well, Disney Plus better put it up.
It's coming.
Because I can't theater that.
It's coming. All right, what's next?
Fangblaze71 says, some of the MCU movies have had 3 post-credit scenes like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Do you think Spider-Man No Way Home might have 3 as well?
I'm trying to remember ones that had 3. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, Fangblaze. I'm just saying I don't really know. I think it'll be 2. I think there will be 2. There will be that mid-credit scene. Once again, let's bring up the Campea Classroom. Oh, no, it's gone. Campea Classroom's gone. Sorry. But I think it'll be, there's that 4-minute gap where there's going to be a significant mid-credit scene and then an end-credit scene, but I don't think there's going to be 3. I don't think there's going to be 3. But we'll never know.
Wasn't the shawarma one the one with the 3? If you consider that one,
I think that was the second one.
Oh, okay.
I think there were 2 in that. I think that was the second one.
Yeah, I can't think of one either.
All right, what's next?
Fanimator says, maybe it's like Endgame credits with actor signatures.
No, I don't think so. Like that one.
That was a sign off of like 10 years.
That was, it was because they did the same thing with the Star Trek. I can't remember which one it was. I think it might have been Star Trek 6. I think it might have been Undiscovered Country. Maybe. But it ended because Star Trek did it before the MCU did. So when Undiscovered Country ended, and it was kind of be the last movie with the original Star Trek cast, they did that thing where they had the autographs of all the things going well. So Avengers Endgame kind of copied that.
Oh, I did
But it
not
was a
know
beautiful
that.
thing to copy. It was a beautiful thing to copy. But No, I mean, Spider-Man is not done. This is only the third Spider-Man movie, so no, I don't see them doing
But
that.
what about the other Spider-Man? Maybe this is their send-off.
But
Andrew.
you don't do an entire thing where you do all the credits where everybody in the cast is a big autograph.
Right,
And this
true.
is
Yeah.
a small cameo
Yeah,
thing,
I
right?
get it.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
get it.
All right, what's next?
Ryan Newsom says, of your guys' opinion, could you see in the future a Marvel movie can have an end credit scene to be like a full movie scene preview of an upcoming Marvel movie? Thoughts?
They've done it.
They did that with
Captain Marvel
the one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Not with Captain Marvel and Thor, but they did it at the end of one of the Marvel movies. It then basically showed you the first scene
For Far From Home.
No. It was one of the earlier Marvel movies, and then the end of it kind of gave you like a scene or a trailer of the Avengers movie, like a first scene of Avengers, or one of the scenes from Avengers. I'm trying to remember what it was, but that was like the post-credit scene. The post-credit scene was like a trailer for Avengers.
I'm sorry, I brought up Captain Marvel, Thor. That was a trailer from a trailer.
Right, a trailer from a trailer.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I could see that happening. I don't see it happening anytime soon, but yeah, I could see that. You know, at the end of the first Venom movie, at the end of Venom, which is not MCU, but at the end of Venom, one of its post-credit scenes was the Peter meets Peter scene from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. When Peter meets Peter, when Miles meets Peter and shocks him unconscious, and he's picking him up and he's running from the cops, and they show that whole scene
crazy.
as a big post-credit scene in Venom. So I could see the MCU doing something like that at some point, maybe. All right, what's next?
Sebastian Gonzalez says, Kate learned to flick an ornament really fast. LOL.
Yeah, now granted, it wasn't nearly at the skill of what Hawkeye did, like a 3 ricochet, boom, 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 boom. Kate was able to send the coin flipping and it hit the button. Yeah, so that was good. It was good, but they didn't overdo it. They didn't put her on, Clint's skill level right off the bat. All right, what's next?
Suthia says, for me, I always look at a movie runtime first so I can choose best viewing for my busy schedule as a full-time husband and father.
Yeah, kind of the same job, right? But yeah, you do. I know Ray, that is always the first question Ray asks. How long is it?
How long is it?
And it's actually, Anne asked that too. As soon as I say, hey, do you want to go see this tonight? Her first question is, how long is it?
Because you don't want to, like, the last thing I want to do is fall asleep during a movie. It's just disrespectful. That's people's hard work. I don't enjoy when I fall asleep during a movie. That's why I always ask, how long is it? And then I look at my energy level and I'll be like, maybe I'll skip it or maybe I'll come. That's really the main point in all seriousness.
All right, next up.
Kendall Barker says, I would love for Garfield and Holland to see Maguire's spider webbing come out of his arms and both exclaim, ew, gross, at some point in No Way Home, LOL.
Oh, maybe you'll get a scene like that. We'll see, because that is a fundamental
funny.
difference between the Spider-Man. That's a fundamental difference. All right, what's next?
Waleed Haji says, can you list big stars who can't act well? I got Rock, Reynolds, Gal, most of the
okay. I'm
cast.
just going to stop you right there. I'm
wow.
just going to stop you right there, because first of all, Ryan Reynolds. If you're saying that, then you haven't seen half of Ryan Reynolds' movies. You're
Maybe
only
it's Burt
thinking of a couple that you've only ever seen.
Yeah.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm going to go on a limb and guess that you never saw Snitch, and that you never saw Faster, and you never saw Pain and Gain, and you never saw whatever. So I'm just going to stop you right there, because and by the way, Ryan Reynolds absolutely should have had an Academy Award nomination for, you can check on that.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds absolutely should have gotten an Academy Award nomination for Buried.
The one where he's in the box.
The one where he's in the box. I've not seen a whole ton of performances better than that.
That was
he's
so intense.
Great in that. So yeah, I'm just going to stop you right there, my friend. All right, what's next?
Zishan says, it's okay. Don't Look Up is heavy-handed because it's reality. Scientists are literally probably yelling from the rooftops about climate change.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that's a good way to approach making a movie. Again, like I said earlier, if you want to be taken seriously, you can't take it too seriously. If you want people to get the message, you can't hit them over the head with the message. You still have to make a good film. And if you just make the film a big pulpit preach thing, then it's not a movie anymore. Now it's a propaganda piece. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if a propaganda piece is saying the propaganda I agree with or not. I don't like propaganda pieces. I don't care what point of view it's espousing. So you still got to make a good movie. You still have the responsibility to make a good movie. All right, what's next?
Aaron Jones sends in a $49.99 super chat.
Thank you, Aaron, so much, man, for supporting our channel on that level, dude. That's very generous of you, man.
Awesome sauce. Hi, everyone. I think a movie that did great at shining light at issues is Joker.
Yes.
It highlights how important
Great example.
how important mental health is and how a negative society can affect someone without being too heavy-handed. Love the show and thanks for all you guys
Aaron,
do.
that is a perfect example.
Wonderful example, Aaron.
That Joker movie, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie, because you walk out of that movie feeling the message of the movie.
I literally looked up how can I get involved in helping the mental health crisis and
Right.
and I was looking up homeless population as well, but I wanted to do something after seeing that movie, but I don't feel like I was preached at.
Yeah, exactly.
That was
and
great.
because they didn't, you actually, they didn't get on the pulpit. They didn't talk about, no, we will talk about the importance of mental. No. They just had it be implied heavily through the story narrative and the journey of this character. And by the end of the movie, we were all talking about mental health. Mm-hmm. I remember Rob and I, when we first started talking about that movie, we talked about in terms of this is a movie that puts a spotlight on the importance of mental health and how we treat and approach people that have certain issues and the effects of our society and blah. And it was super effective. Super effective. So that is a great one to bring up, Aaron. All right, what's next?
Daryl Best Wadley says Mahershala Ali was on The Breakfast Club and he asked if Wesley Snipes could appear because of the multiverse, and he said that he couldn't comment.
See, that's the best answer. No, he's not going to appear. Wesley Snipes is not going to appear in it. But that's the way you should answer it. You can't say yes. You can't say no. Just say no comment. That is the way to go. That is the best thing to do. That is how you handle those things. All right, what's next?
Nathan Kalpari says, hi, John, longtime fan. Don't know if you saw my previous message, so I will say it again. If you got invited to the No Way Home premiere, would you go?
Yeah, we got that.
You
message,
answered
and
that.
we answered that
Yeah,
one.
no, you answered it.
So, yes. I mean, I have never been invited to a Spider-Man premiere. I've never been to a single one of the Spider-Man premieres. And I'm certainly not entitled to be invited to Spider-Man premieres at all. But if you get, look, I explained before, it is a huge honor to be invited to one of those things because there's only a limited number of seats. Only a limited number of people can actually go to the premiere of a film. And if you get invited to one of those, that's an honor. That is an honor that you say yes to. And you say, like, it is not the most important thing in the world to me if I go to a premiere. It's fun. I enjoy it. But one of the most hilarious things to me in doing this job, people write in and think that, like, going to a premiere is like the most important thing in the world. It's not. It's fun. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it. Ann and I look forward to going. We'll get dressed up and go. But it's like, would I give a fake opinion about something to try to get invited to a premiere? No. It's like, how sad of a life do you have to have where, like, going to the premiere would make you compromise or put your livelihood at jeopardy? Right? People are, it's like, oh, yeah, Campea just wants to make sure he gets invited to those premieres. Why do you think they're that important? It's an honor. Absolutely. It's not that important. And people used to say to me, oh, Campea just wants to make sure he gets invited to go and interview all those stars. I stopped doing those. I find them boring. They're not worth my time. John, are you saying Jessica Alba's not worth? No, I'm not saying they're not worth my time. What I'm saying is you get bored of it after a while. Like, you go to enough of these things and you do enough of these things and whatever, and you just start to realize they're not that important. The only reason I don't have, like, celebrity interviews on my channel is because I don't want to do them. When I was at AMC and I was still getting invited to go to every press junket to meet every actor and everything, I stopped going. I started letting people go. Not because I'm above it. Not at all. It's just that you start to realize after you've done it for a little while, it's not that big of a deal.
And the actors look bored of it too.
And the actors are totally
They're not
bored
into
of
it. Except Hugh Jackman. Except that's
Hugh
why
Jackman.
Hugh
Yes,
Jackman is always
having
pumped.
the time of his life. But it's just like, so, but at any rate, yes, if Sony totally unexpectedly sent me an invitation to come to the premiere on Monday, of course I would go. That's a huge honor, and it would be insulting if I didn't. So yeah, I would go and I would enjoy myself. But yeah, I ain't getting invited to I've never been invited to a Spider-Man premiere. I'm certainly not getting invited to this one. All right, what's next?
Casey Max says, I think if anything, Tom will do 3 more movies and maybe introduce Miles Morales in one of those movies.
I still think Sony is very happy with the success they're having with Miles in animated form, and I think they got a long-term plan for that. I don't think we're going to see him anytime soon. Eventually, but I don't think anytime soon. All right, what's next?
Soul Brother Max says, so John, are you going to get in on Halo?
Nope. I don't have an Xbox.
And John don't do shooters either.
And I don't do I do first-person shooters. Like one of my favorite games of all time is Unreal Tournament.
Oh, okay.
Unreal Tournament and Heretic.
Okay.
That's going back a ways.
I've never
Heretic's
heard
going back a ways. But one of my all-time favorite games is Unreal Tournament. But yeah, I don't play. I certainly have never played a shooter on a console.
Yeah,
I can't.
It's too fast for me.
I need a freaking mouse and keyboard to play a shooter.
Yeah.
I can't use a controller to play a shooter. But that's just me. All right, what's next?
Nathan Calpari says, so sorry for the question. I'm a first-time tipper. Sorry.
Oh, no problem, man. No problem at all. I probably missed what you were saying anyway.
Oh, John, can I ask you this? Will you get into the Halo series, the TV show? I will be watching.
I'll definitely give it a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got my doubts
Let's
about
watch it
whether
here.
it's going to be
We can
any
watch
good.
it here.
But yeah.
Do you know where it's playing? Which is it Paramount?
I can't.
It's Paramount Plus.
Is it Paramount
And
Plus?
I don't have that subscription, so I'll be
So you're
here.
going to have to come over and watch
I'll
it
be
here.
here then.
All right, what's next?
Chris Leonardo sends in a $25 super chat. Thank you so much.
Wait a second. I think you missed Parker Press's play. Well,
Oh,
no. I
that's-
think I skipped a bunch. Sorry, that's my bad. Where were we at? Soul Brother Mark, are you going to get on Halo? Sorry for the question first time. There you saw Chris Leonardo. You're right. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. Hi, John, Kim, and Ray. I agree with you that the Hawkeye series doesn't really feel like it started. Honestly, it kind of feels bogged down by all the things they tease. I'm not sure how they tie up the storylines in 2 episodes.
Look, you can do a lot in an hour. You can do a lot in an hour. But this has not been... I am now enjoying Hawkeye, but it has not been a well-paced show. We are 2/3 of the way through the show now. We're 2/3 of the way through the show, and I still don't believe they've properly articulated what is the story of Hawkeye, of this series. What is the main underlying story? We're still just finding out what the story is. It hasn't been a well-paced out film, but let's see. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's see if they finish this thing strong. I'm certainly going to be looking forward to the next 2 episodes with a lot of anticipation. All right, what's next?
Soul Brother Max says, if you do go on Halo, can you stream live?
Well, yeah, I'm not going to be doing a first-person shooter on a console, and I don't have an Xbox, so there's that. All right, what's next?
Sam Malby says, I want Tom to play Spider-Man until he becomes 50.
Well, I don't think I'll believe that like 5 or 6 years from now. Right now, I am loving him as Spider-Man. At some point, we're all going to say it's time for him to step aside and let new blood come in, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. All right, what's next?
Parker Presses Play says, I think Tom will be in Morbius, but not Venom. Would be cool for the other characters to notice Eddie talking to himself and thinking he's a weirdo.
Tom ain't going to be in Morbius. Unless you're talking about
Tom Hardy. He's saying the character Morbius when he transforms.
I see what you're thinking.
Just Eddie
You're
Brock.
Right. You're right.
Eddie
so
Brock.
you think Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock will be in Morbius, but he will not be in the Venom form.
Just as
Gotcha.
Eddie. Oh, that's cute.
That's possible. That's a possibility.
Like him doing a report or something on this.
I don't think that's how they'll do it, but that is actually a really good possibility, Parker. All right, what's next?
Living with Damron says, seems Sony has the THCU, no, not weed, Tom Hardy cinematic universe. Love your show and hope Ray never reps me in a box office. Trisha, just joking. Aww.
I mean, but I think he's absolutely right. Like it is kind of shaping up to be the Venom cinematic universe in a way.
really
He is
is.
the one who's kind of tying this whole thing together, and I love that theory. All right, what's next?
Lastly, we have a super chat from Wanda Blackwell 90. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Wanda, for saying that in. All right, guys. And that does it for all the comments that you guys have sent in. All right. We are going to roll into hour number 3 now. We're going to get to your questions in just a second here. But before we do, we're going to take a short little break here, go refill our drinks, stretch our legs, give you guys a chance to run to the bathroom, talk amongst yourselves. So hang tight, everybody. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. And we are back. Thank you, everybody, for your patience and indulgence as we took a little bit of a break there. Now, once again, we're going to roll in and start taking your questions. Again, if you want to send in a question to be read on this show or an upcoming companion video, simply go down to the tip link that's in the description of the video or enter it in manually at www.streamelements.com/movieblogtv/tip. You'll be getting your question read on the show if we deem your question appropriate to be read on our show. And of course, you're supporting our channel at the same time. And again, unlike the comments, which you can only send in when the show is live, you can send those in anytime 24/7. So let's get to it. What have we got lined up here?
Holland is SpiderMan says, hey, John, if the 3 Spider-Men are in No Way Home, do you think they will have enough screen time to have a conversation about the organic web shooters? And have you heard the leaked soundtracks for No Way Home? Do you think they are real or fake?
Again, irrelevant. Don't care about the soundtrack stuff. But we were just talking about whether they'll have a discussion about, a couple of Spider-Men have artificial web shooters. One of them has, or it's organic part of them. A conversation, I don't know. A quick quip about it? Probably going to see that. All right, what's next?
Spidey Fangirl says, if Tom Holland was to leave the MCU, would they recast Peter Parker? I feel like we haven't had enough time with his character. If they did, Miles, I personally wouldn't want to see him stuck in high school. Seeing an adult Spidey, Miles, or Peter would be nice.
If Tom Holland, this is all theoretical, but if Tom Holland left, they would recast Peter Parker. Again, like I said, Sony is very happy with the situation right now. They are having great success with an animated Miles Morales. I think they're going to keep him there for a while. So I do think they'll just recast Peter Parker. All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, hi, JC. I have my ticket for No Way Home on the 16th here in Scotland.
Nice.
So damn excited. What are the chances, if any, that one of the surprises in the movie is the Punisher hunting Spidey? Now that he's been classed as a murderer, he did debut in Spider-Man comics.
Absolute zero. Look, it's one thing to have a bunch of characters, and you can have a lot of characters in the movie. If you use them right within the story, it can be fine. But you can't introduce a whole bunch of new storylines. That's where you get into trouble. You can't just start throwing stories. So all of a sudden now throwing in a new storyline in this movie. Now Punisher is here. He saw that the Spider-Man's a murderer. He's on the hunt. Guess what? Punisher, even the one in Netflix, doesn't just go around the world just looking for anybody who's who's a lawbreaker, right? So this would be introducing an entire new storyline in the movie, and that I don't think they have room to do. But I mean, a cameo, maybe, but not a whole new storyline. All right, what's next?
All right, Dangerous D says, hi, John. I have a Bose SoundLink Color 2 speaker. I love the sound quality of Bose system. I'm thinking of buying a Samsung 2.0 soundbar with a built-in woofer and Bluetooth. Is this a good investment? Soundbar systems versus regular home theater system, what's best?
Soundbar systems have gotten a lot better. I've got one that I love. I have a JBL one that I think is incredible. It has a separate detached huge box subwoofer that goes along with it. But yeah, you get the right soundbar, it can be an absolutely great investment. They're convenient, they sound great. And again, they've come a long way since soundbars from 4 or 5 years ago. All right, what's next?
Suthia says, I'm completely fine with a movie that has multiple languages and not having subtitles. For the foreign ones, I all agree with Kimberly. We have a species which are able to understand to each other, even if we don't speak the same languages. Kudos to Spielberg.
Again, there's a difference between sit down and watch this movie all in another language with no subtitles. I don't care how good you are at reading body language, you will not understand that movie. But there's a difference between that and having moments of dialogue being spoken in another language where you can emote what the message of it is in short spurts and it be totally fine. And that's what I think what I think West Side Story is going to be for Spielberg. All right, what's next?
PSN sends in a $24
Oh,
tip.
thank you, PSN.
So much. Sup, Tito John, Tito Ray, and Tita Kimberly. Love
for those who don't know, in Filipino, that's Uncle John, Uncle Ray, and Aunt Kimberly.
The dynamic between you three. Love the dynamic between you three. And it's only getting better. Also, I have a theory of the next 3 Spider-Man potential films that it'll be one movie for each Spider-Man.
Nah, a lot of people have been wondering, now they're going to make more Tobey Spider-Man movies. They're going to make more Andrew Spider-Man movies. Nah, they brought these guys back for a special one-hit thing. Look, is it within the realm of possibilities? Yes. They're not going to be making multiple live-action Spider-Man movies with different Spider-Man. They're just not going to do it. I just don't see that happening. All right, what's next?
Dangerous D says, hi, John. I presented you with this query before. Who'd win if Thanos was sucked into the Matrix? Who'd win, Thanos or Neo? You said Thanos. I disagree. Here, Neo has the advantage if he controls everything, can stop bullets flying. If it was in the real world, Thanos wins.
It doesn't matter. Thanos uses the gauntlet to destroy the Matrix in a second. Boom, gone. Yeah, Thanos wins that fight. Again, if a Matrix writer is writing it, they'll find a way to make it so Neo wins. Other than that, nope, Thanos wins that all day. He doesn't have to dodge bullets. Bullets just bounce off him. So it doesn't even really matter. He can take a punch from the Hulk. So yeah, no, he's good. Thanos all day. God. All right, what's next?
Ketchup and Milk said, is Amazon ever going to improve their UI? I was watching The Wheel of Time and found out they had some animated lore shorts hidden away in the X-ray feature. They're absolutely fantastic, but they're so hard to find. Netflix is king of the UI, by the way, John.
Yeah, listen.
Here's
the thing. I actually disagree. I think Amazon has a superior UI. And they have more features than Netflix does. They actually have like that whole X-ray feature that they have on Amazon. At first, when I heard about it, I thought it was just a weird gimmick. But the more I use Amazon Prime Video, I actually end up using X-ray and all the associated stuff actually quite a lot. I'm constantly like hitting the down button to see, oh, who's that guy in this scene? And it shows you the actor and who it is and all that kind of stuff and give you a little bit of information as well. I actually find it really good, and I think they do it in a really good way. Like, you can't compare how Netflix does it in its UI because Netflix doesn't do that. So I actually think I personally kind of think that the Amazon Prime is the superior UI, although Netflix's is very good too. All right, thanks for sharing your thoughts on that, man. What's next?
Elminster sends in a $50 tip.
Wow, thank you, Elminster. Appreciate that very much, man. That's very generous of you. Thank you for supporting our channel on that level, man.
Battle Chasers comic was one of my favorites.
Nice.
Art style was incredible. The game also followed that art style and was quite an enjoyable game. Can't wait for the series to come out. Very excited. No question today. Thanks, John, Cam, and Ray.
Well, again, a friend of mine, a guy I know, a guy who's in my documentary, Adrian Iscaria, is actually going to be the executive producer of that Battle Chasers. So I'm sure he's going to be thrilled to hear you say that, man. Thank you for sending that in. I'm sure he's going to be happy to hear that too. And again, thank you so much for supporting our channel at that level, man. It's super generous of you, man. All right, what's next?
Shy Potsy says, any thoughts on what the show will look like on the 16th? Will there be a normal episode or maybe a pregame?
You know what? I think our John Campea show on the 16th. Okay, so here's what I think we're going to do. Don't hold me to this, though. I think the evening of the 15th, we will do a pregame show. Last chance for final theories, all that kind of stuff. On the 16th, the morning of the 16th, we will do a regular John Campea show. And then as soon as we're done, we're all heading over to the theater for our private screening of Spider-Man No Way Home. So I think we're going to have a Spider-Man No Way Home pregame show on the 15th, the evening of the 15th, a regular John Campea show on the 16th. And then, of course, we're going to have our out of the theater reactions later on the 16th as we come out of the theater. So that's what I think the 16th is going to look like. All right, what's next?
Mumra says, hi, John.
You're living.
Yeah, Mumra.
Hi, John. If the family signed off on it, would you be okay with Christopher Reeves popping up for a short cameo using some kind of deepfake tech in a future DC movie, like the new Flash or another project? Kind of like how they use Tarkin and Luke in Star Wars.
No, but only no because can we get past this fucking bullshit multiverse nonsense? It's cool to use it for one or two things, but listen, I'm super looking forward to Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. I'm super looking forward to Spider-Man No Way Home. We had Crisis on Infinite Earths and we got the Flash movie coming. Okay, great. But then can we pump the brakes on the idiotic multiverse nonsense bullshit? Can we just get back to real storytelling at some point? So look, but if for whatever reason they had a story that they wanted to involve the original Christopher Reeve Superman, as long as the family's cool with it, I've got no problem with them doing a CGI Superman, a CGI Christopher Reeve. As long as the family's okay with it and they sign off, then yeah, I'd be perfectly fine with it if it fits a story. Then I'd be cool with it. All right, what's next?
Robin says, hi, John. As a trans person, Lana Wachowski is my favorite director. So obviously, I'm excited for The Matrix. I was wondering if you have watched Sense8, which got the highest critic scores of her career.
I'll be honest with you. I watched a bit of Sense8, and it was just one of those shows that it wasn't working for me. It just didn't work. I didn't hate it. I just gave it a few episodes and not for me. And I know it never drew great great ratings. I don't think it got the best rating. Whatever. I am not a big fan of the Wachowskis. Other than the original Matrix, they've made some of my most hated films ever. But I gotta say, that could all turn around with the Great Matrix 4. Because damn if those trailers don't look good. Oh, those trailers look way better than they have any business looking. Like, both of them have been fantastic looking trailers. And I've gone from zero interest in this movie to having a bit of interest in this movie now because of those trailers. I'll tell you what, if this Matrix can even 70% live up to the hype of the trailers,
oh my gosh,
I'll say the Matrix is back. Like, I'll be the first one to say the Matrix is back. If it can even live up to 70% of the promise of these trailers, that's how good these trailers are. So I hope, for your sake, Robin, and for mine, I hope this one works out a lot. I'll be cheering for it. All right, what's next?
Dangerous D says, hi, John. I was wondering, why can't the main MCU say the word adamantium? It's their creation. I know it's more associated to Wolverine and X-Men, but it's still metal, nothing to do with mutants. It's some legal technicality that prevents them to mention it.
It's not a legal technicality. It's very, look, when you think about it, look, I'm going to ask both of you guys. I say the word adamantium. What's the first word that comes to your mind?
Wolverine.
Wolverine. That's it. It's associated with Wolverine. Adamantium is associated with Wolverine. When they signed their contracts way back in the day, Fox got X-Men and all the associated IP with it. And obviously adamantium is associated with Wolverine. You can try to pull technicalities, but you would have lost that in court every day of the week. So, I mean, that's just obvious and clear. However, that's no longer an issue because Disney owns Fox now. So that is no longer an issue. Expect to hear the word adamantium mentioned sometime in the future in an MCU film. All right, what's next?
My favorite viewer says, theory hat on. In Iron Man 3, Tony destroys his suits. In Thor 3, his hammer is destroyed. Cap 3, he loses his shield. Ant-Man 3 seems like his helmet is destroyed. So following that, in the Spider-Man 3, if he loses a friend, his home, everything, something else.
My favorite viewer, that is a huge stretch. That is like a Mr. Fantastic stretch. Every hero in every movie loses something. That's kind of part of the hero's journey. And Ant-Man having his helmet cracked is not the same as Peter losing his best friend. Like, every hero in every movie loses something. They lose their way. They lose a family member. They lose a power. They lose an item. It's not just in the third films. I mean, it's part of the hero's journey of just about every movie. When you look at Thor 1, Thor 2, and Thor 3, Thor loses something in every single one of those movies. And guess what? He's going to lose something again in Thor Love and Thunder. He's going to lose something there too. So I suspect Peter's going to lose something. Does he get whatever that something is back? Maybe. Is it a power? Maybe. Is it a family member? Maybe. Is it a friend? Maybe. I mean, we don't know, but I expect him to lose something. All right, what's next?
Humor Waffle says, correct me if I'm wrong, but the contract Sony and Marvel has gives them the money for opening weekend, and the other gets the split of the overall box office, correct? Could this be why we haven't seen Andrew and Toby in a trailer yet?
No, I believe that is incorrect. The Sony gets a certain percentage. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Marvel gets a certain percentage. It's the smaller part. It's the minority. But they get a certain percentage of the box office. It's not opening weekend versus regular run and all that kind of stuff. They get whatever Spider-Man No Way Home makes in theaters, Sony gets it, and then they have to give a certain percentage of it back to Marvel. Because if, like, say Sony got the entire opening weekend, let's say, which is not the case, but if Sony got the whole opening weekend, you could bet your ass we would have seen Andrew Garfield in the trailers. You can bet your ass we would have seen Tobey Maguire in the trailers. You can bet your ass we would have seen Charlie Cox in the trailers. You can bet your ass we would see Vincent D'Onofrio in the trailers. You can bet your ass we would see Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Chris Hemsworth. They would have put everything in the trailers, because if Sony got to keep all the opening weekend just to themselves, well, then they would have made sure everybody was seeing it opening weekend. But yeah, no, the basics of, so you got the basics of it right there, in the sense that that once that Disney does get a certain percentage of the overall box, but it's not divided by opening weekend versus the rest. It's just in general, they get a percentage of the box office. All right. At least that's my understanding of it. All right. What's next?
Sansei says, big fan, John. Have you seen the interview where Kevin Feige says, how do we start to merge them? Speaking about Venom and the MCU Spidey. Hint at Venom becoming permanent in the MCU?
No, absolutely not.
I don't think they would say the term merge, as that seems definitive.
It's not. Look, we're about to see Venom in this movie. I really don't think he's going to be like, by the time Spider-Man No Way Home ends, I don't think Venom's going to be there anymore. I don't think Spider-Man's going to be there either, but I mean, I might be right about that. I might be wrong about that, but I absolutely don't expect that Venom's still going to be there. This is a momentary thing for a specific movie. It's not a permanent thing. Explain to me, tell me why Sony would do that. Sony is working very hard to build what they just renamed the Sony Spider-Man universe. The cornerstone of that right now is Venom. They have Morbius coming. They have Craven coming. They have Madam Web coming. They have, they're building this thing. Tell me what sense it makes to Sony to take their cornerstone character, other than Spider-Man himself, and just let him go away and go over to the MCU. It makes no sense. There's no reason on earth why Sony would do that. Now, again, there could be a lot of things behind it. We are all just giving our opinions based on what information is available. We may get a new batch of information tomorrow that totally changes my perception and all of our perceptions. But as of right now, it's just, it's like this. It reminds me of this. You know what? I don't know. You know what the Miami Heat should do, Ray?
What?
They should trade a 8th round pick for LeBron James. That's what they should do. Okay, that sounds great, but the Lakers have to be willing to give up LeBron James for an 8th round pick. It's like saying, Marvel should have Venom in the MCU. Oh, that's great, but why would Sony do that? What incentive is there for Sony? There's great incentive there for Sony to have Venom come into this movie because it's their movie. It's their movie.
Right.
But why would they just let him just go over and be in? It makes no sense.
But maybe that's how they extended the contract. Maybe Sony had a special request that Venom show up sometimes in the MCU, so their stuff makes sense. We're lending Spider-Man to you. Just make sure, since we're doing our thing, that you might have to put Venom in a couple of things so our thing makes sense.
See, to me, it would be the opposite of that. It would be Sony saying, "We've lent Spider-Man to you. Now you lend us Falcon to put in one of our Sony movies."
Sure, well, maybe
right?
what I just said
that
didn't
would
make
be
sense at all.
That would be the straight up trade.
I don't know.
So I don't know. Look, listen. We are living in a world where Jamie Foxx is playing Electro again.
So weird.
I would have lost. You go back 4 years, and you tell John Campea then, Jamie Foxx is going to come back as Electro again. I would have put $1,000 against that. Not $1, not 10, not 50. I would have put confidently $1,000 on that.
Time machine, time machine.
Time machine. And today I would be $1,000 poorer. Because there's no way I ever thought that would happen. I don't think don't lie. Nobody thought that would ever happen again. Nobody ever thought we'd see Jamie Foxx. But again, that's the world we live in now. So who knows? But the who knows aside, I just don't see what the motivation is for Sony to agree to a deal like that. There is no motive. Their whole thing is based on Venom right now. So yeah, I just can't see it happening. But again, we live in a world where Jamie Foxx is Electro. So who knows? All right. Thanks for sending that in, Sansei. All right. What's next?
JP from Brazil says, hey, John, we have a new Asian Iron Fist coming up in the comics, rumored to be a character previously named Lin Li, a.k.a. Swordmaster, a hero trained by no other than Shang-Chi. Do you think Marvel is laying the ground to introduce the character in the MCU?
No, Marvel is actually pretty divorced from what they have in their comics, from what they have in the movies. Now, that's not saying we can't say Lin Li or we can't see Iron Fist at some point in the MCU. I just, A, don't think it's going to be the Iron Fist from the Netflix series at all. And B, it won't be because they don't need to set up anything in the comics in order to do something in the MCU. Because less than 5% of the people who watch the MCU actually read the Marvel comics. So it doesn't really matter. So I don't think there's a connection there, but we could see that character at some point, but it has nothing to do with what they're doing in the comics. At least I don't think so. All right, what's next?
Shuvo says, it's been a couple of months since I have been watching you.
Shuvo.
Kim and Ray bring such a great energy to the studio. Such a surprise today to learn you love U2 as much as I do.
My favorite band.
By the way, Matrix is only playing at one IMAX theater in Canada. Spider really killed it.
Yeah, that is one of the big things is that, when a movie like Matrix is coming out like 6 days after Spider-Man No Way Home, which is a mistake, but then again, they're putting on HBO and that's a mistake. Whatever. But one of the things you're really going to feel that in is that Spider-Man is going to have a contract to be on the IMAX screens for a couple of weeks. And Matrix really does feel like I don't go to a lot of IMAX screenings myself. I prefer the Dolby Prime, but Matrix is one of those movies that if you're going to go see something on IMAX, you might want to go see Matrix on IMAX, right? But the IMAX screens are spoken for. And that's one of the other downsides about the release date that they have, unfortunately. But I'm sure it's going to be great on whatever screen you watch it on. But yeah, in IMAX, it's going to hurt. All right, what's next?
Mark Goman says, so Eternals, despite being a Rotten Tomatoes dud, surpassed Dune, Black Widow, and Free Guy in the 2021 worldwide box office. And closing in on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Who would have thought?
Yeah, listen, all things considered, given the current circumstances and context, and judging by the curve, Eternals has done pretty well. On the curve, it's done pretty well. Overall, like taking the pandemic out of it, it's completely an underperformer. But on the curve, you're right. It's passed a number of other big movies that we look at saying those have done pretty well. So yeah, it's acquitted itself fairly decently. All right, what's next?
Korea Got Soul says,
I love that name.
Hey, John. Hello, Kim. And good day to you, Ray.
Hey.
So I recently watched the 3rd episode of Hawkeye. In one scene, Hawkeye pulls out a Hank Pym arrow.
Yes.
Is it safe to say that the MCU characters will now use Hank Pym's technology rather than Iron Man's tech?
Remember, there's no such thing as Iron Man tech. There's Stark Industries, and Stark Industries is still there. It's being run by Pepper, and it's being run by Happy. So it's still there. So I think we are still going to see that, but I really like that we're seeing Pym technologies in there. Listen, Hank Pym is actually one of my low-key favorite characters in the MCU. Michael Douglas's Hank Pym is one of my favorite low-key characters, especially, and that's why I say that the What If episode is actually one of my favorite episodes with Hank Pym, where Hank Pym takes out all the Avengers. Like, you don't really think of Hank Pym that way, but then all of a sudden, he's the most dangerous guy in the world. Because not only can he do what his abilities allow him to do, he's also maybe the smartest man on Earth. Mm-hmm. And you combine those things, filled with grief and anger and rage, he can take everybody out. And that's one of that episode of What If is probably why it's my favorite one, even more so than the great Doctor Strange one. But it's like, oh yeah. So yeah, I want to see more Pym technologies. I love that you pointed that out. All right, what's next?
Jack Lumber says, when watching Godzilla vs. Kong, were you a little disappointed that they didn't include Here We Go by Eminem in the movie? Not going to lie, after King of Monsters, I had no interest in the movie until I saw the trailer with that excellent song choice.
I'll be honest with you, Jack. No, it makes no difference to me whatsoever. I don't care. Oh, I put in a song by this. No, does the music you're putting in certain scenes, whatever, fit and elevate the scene it's in? It doesn't have to come from any particular artist, doesn't have to do any of that. So no, I was perfectly good with it. Don't get me wrong. I love that trailer, but it didn't need to be there. So no, I personally, for me, and I'm only speaking for myself, it didn't detract from my enjoyment of that. All right, what's next?
Daniel Lyon says, hello, John and crew. Just want to say, sorry for my rant on Spider-Man No Way Home. I realize I'm more hyped for the movie than others. I do have a question, though. Do you guys have a favorite stop-motion animation movie you love? Me, I love Coraline.
Coraline's great. Coraline's very, very good. What's the English one with the guy and his dog?
Wallace and Gromit.
Wallace and Gromit.
Shaun the Sheep.
Shaun the Sheep. I didn't super love Shaun the Sheep. Chicken Run.
Was Captain Underpants considered that?
I don't think so. I might not be remembering. Plus, I didn't think Captain Underpants was all that great. But Wallace and Gromit. Paranorman was another good one.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah,
Paranorman was
Paranorman
good.
was pretty good.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wasn't there? What about the Sherman and the dog? His dog with the glasses.
Was that stop motion? I don't think that was
Oh
stop
yeah,
motion.
that wasn't stop motion.
No.
Sorry, I'm just.
I love Nightmare Before Christmas. That's
Nightmare
my favorite.
Before Christmas. We were just talking about that one on my. Was it today or on my show? No, it was on my companion video. So we were just talking about that one. I'm gonna say it's probably Wallace and Gromit, but there could be ones I'm not thinking of. All right, what's next?
Willow says, if you got sent back to the moment of when you double booked dates, what would you have done differently? I just pretend it was intentional and tried channeling Javier Bardem from Vicky Cristina Barcelona.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I've got nothing to lose at that point.
Of course, Vicky Cristina Barcelona, which, by the way, is a wonderful film. I love. I mean, all anybody ever talked about that movie for was that's the movie that's going to have a threesome with Javier Bardem, Scarlett Johansson, and Penelope Cruz, three of the most unfairly gorgeous people on the face of the earth, and that's the movie with the threesome, right? Okay, but it's actually quite a good character movie, and the main character of the movie isn't even on the poster. The main character of the movie is, I'm forgetting the actress's name. She was in Iron Man 3. What's her name? I'll say Vicky Cristina Barcelona. The actress I am thinking of,
Rebecca Hall?
Rebecca Hall. Thank you.
Yeah. She just directed that show on Netflix.
Rebecca
Passing.
Hall is wonderful. I love Rebecca. And by the way, speaking of threesome movies, she's in another one. Professor Marsden and the Wonder Woman with Luke Evans.
About that.
That's a wonderful movie. Looking at the guy who created the Wonder Woman character. So it's a little bit of a period piece and looking at, Rebecca Hall and Luke Evans played this married couple, and he plays Professor Marsden, who creates Wonder Woman. But the two of them as a couple, they fall in love with this young girl who kind of becomes a part of their relationship, and about how that all kind of shaped the formation of the Wonder Woman character. It's a really interesting film that I actually like quite a bit. And again, Rebecca Hall, I just think she is, I'll go and say it. I think Rebecca Hall is the most underappreciated actress in Hollywood. She does nothing but bring 1,000% excellence every time she's on the screen. You give her any kind of character, she can play it. And she is not a household name.
No. And
And
have
she
you seen
should
her
be.
directorial debut?
Which one was that?
Passing with Tessa Thompson and
who's the other one with Tessa Thompson in
and
that
the
one?
girl from Loving. How could I
Ruth
forget her
Negga.
name? Ruth Negga.
Ruth Negga. No, I have not, but I've been wanting to watch that.
It's interesting because it's kind of follows her mom's story. Like, I didn't know Rebecca Hall was a woman of color. I didn't know that her mother was a black woman. It's fascinating.
I am very interested in seeing that.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
I love her. Dangerous D says, "Hi, John. Trailer for Superman and Lois arrived. I'm so excited to watch this on January 11th. I love, love, love this show. This feels like the R. Donner, Christopher Reeves soups that I enjoyed when I was a kid. Constant optimist, believes in a better tomorrow. Can't wait."
Yeah, I gave up on it. I was really
Because you
enjoying
liked it when it started,
I did.
right?
I really liked it, and then it just reminded me that it was a part. This is the same Superman that was the Jobber Superman, and it just whatever. Look, I don't tell anybody else not to watch it. I didn't say the show suddenly got bad. It's just that for me, I just lost my interest in it. And you don't get to choose what you're interested in. You just either are interested in something or you're not. You don't get to choose that. Yeah. If I got to choose that, I would probably choose to stay interested in the show. But you don't get to choose whether you're interested. I just lost my interest in it, so I kind of tapped out of it. But I did like what I saw, and a lot of people really enjoy it. And I think that's great. All right, what's next?
Mike Zevia, CEO, says, "John, thanks for the free advertising, but it's not enough. If you want us to open the Zevia vault, we're going to need some of those breakdancing tape, Pisces. These are our demands. Hashtag release the Zodiac tapes."
Yeah, that's no. I don't need Zevia. I don't need Zevia that bad.
Now all of a sudden you're like, never mind, I'll drink
not that
Pepsi.
important.
No, I don't need Zevia that bad. All right,
be
last
so funny.
last question of the day. What's our final one today?
Adam S. says, "For the Spider-Man spoiler review video, can you tell us what you saw in the video that was emailed to you? And can you show us the other pictures that were sent to you? If not, could you at least describe what they look like?"
I'm not going to commit to that. No, well, I definitely won't. I definitely won't show things that I was sent. I definitely won't do that because there are reasons. So I won't be doing that. I might tell you a little bit about them. I might tell you about, oh yeah, so the scene where this happens, yeah, I'd seen that scene already. Or like, I might mention that, but I'm not going to show anything. Like, for reasons that I cannot explain, that I won't be showing any of that stuff. All right. That'll do it, guys, for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in comments and questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved here at the John Campea Show, thank you guys so very much for your support. There are still a few more questions to come from Mark Netto and Mixmaster and Anonymous and others. Don't worry, we'll pick up right where we left off on the John Campea Show tomorrow with those. But for now, that'll do it. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Remember to do the four main things. Stay smart, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and please take care of the people around you. I want to thank Kim for being here. Kim, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at wasgoodkimberly, and I hope you guys are good to each other.
And Mr. Ray Ora.
Oh, you forgot the fifth one. And play Halo.
And play Halo.
Ray Ora with a 0.
And play some Halo. I know where Ray's going to be for the rest of the day. And you guys can simply follow me on social media on Twitter or on Instagram right there at John Campea. Okay, guys, that'll do it for me. Thanks a lot for being here. My name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.